This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yeah. Big O, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Probably Pablo in the Big O Show.
O's on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the rumors in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call them and let them know.
Culture, Probably Pablo, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando Gary. Yeah.
All righty, yeah, we are ready to rock and roll out here at Toyota of Hollywood like we are every Thursday. Was just talking to Steve Ostrov right now as I'm looking at that big, beautiful red Supra there, which is, man, that Supra is nice. Red, that thing is, and it's kind of like a cherry red, right? It's like right on the brink of being cherry red, right?
It's rich.
Right? It's
deep.
That's a great adjective. It's rich. Because cherry red is rich, you know what I mean? And that Supra there, yeah, that's
it's
nice.
It's as if the paint job goes in deep into the car.
That is nice, man. That is absolutely nice. Hope you all are doing well out there on a beautiful Thursday. It's Thursday already in the week. Wow, man. The week's gone by so quickly. Wow. It's amazing. Anyway, so we got a bunch of things to talk about today on the show. We got some folks that are going to join us. Craig Mish will stop by at 1:10 to talk a little baseball, and we'll get into some of the issues with baseball. As Max Scherzer, wow, you saw him like, hey, there's no need to deal with the MLB already. I mean, you know, why? They're just in Stupidville, you know what I mean?
And in all honesty, from their original offer to then come with the next one, it is rather insulting to those upper echelon guys.
Well, first of all, from prorated to a 50-50 split to now, okay, so now you're going to ask your stars to take 70-80% pay cuts. Okay, the reason why you have people in the stands is because of those guys. You go see Mookie Betts. You go see Max Scherzer. You go see Mike Trout. You go see Aaron Judge. Those aren't the guys that are supposed to be taking 70% pay cuts. And it's not the problem with all of this is we can't get past the greed factor for everybody, right? Because we're all struggling right now. And everybody's struggling to make ends meet. So you don't want to hear about millionaire and billionaire problems. So you kind of shut them off and you like throw them. But really, I think the owners are being the bad guys here, not the players. I'm sorry. I told you guys last week or 2 weeks ago, actually, when I told you, hey, take it easy on the baseball players because it's not as simple as you make it out to be. And I think the owners have look, man, there's a reason why baseball and us older guys and women out there that might like baseball, older women, because I doubt younger women or younger men are like in baseball. But I think why we have lost interest in it, why the game has gone down, these are all the examples, man. You're not in the NHL, they're not fighting about the money. In basketball, they're not fighting about the money. In football, they're not fighting about the money. They're trying to figure out a healthy way of coming back. That's it. Baseball's the only one that's kind of stuck in this rut. And it's always stuck in a rut. Football moves on. Basketball moves on. Soccer is surging. And baseball is floundering. And this is no different. We'll talk to Craig Mish at 1:10 about that. But it's interesting to see what the contrast between one organization, one sport, and every other sport on the planet. Because soccer leagues all over the world, they're coming back, man. And players and their teams have agreed on the fair pay cuts and all that stuff. And yet somehow baseball has always, always has a problem, man. And by the way, props to the Marlins for paying their minor leaguers all the way through August, which is basically the entire season, pretty much. That was really classy on their part. In a time where, because the minor leaguers aren't making, big-time money. They're struggling just like the rest of us. Maybe down the line, some of those guys will be richer than we will ever be. But at the moment, they are also struggling to stay and keep their heads above water and feed their families and whatever it is. So I thought that was, in the midst of all this stuff and negativity with baseball, I want to give a little love to the Marlins for taking care of their minor league people. I thought that was really, really classy on their part. So that was really cool. Props to the Marlins on that one, man.
Right now, I cannot remember which West Coast team. I want to say the Angels or Arizona, one of those, San Diego.
Oh, no, Oakland.
You're talking about Oakland. Is it Oakland?
Yeah.
$2 billion guy, and it won't pay the minor league dudes. And it's the equivalent of having $100,000 and not throwing them $50.
Yeah, it's funny.
That is the ratio.
It's funny that you mentioned that because on the national show, I had a guy, I guess he had to wait a whole week to call me back. And he called me back. He goes, hey, I want to take umbrage with your comments about the Rays last week. And it's not. And he goes, oh, we're a good organization and all that. And I was like, dude, you don't keep your players. So you're not a good organization. Yeah, you're good at unearthing talent. But as long as you're the Rays or the A's, I told him, because they're both the same, you're a garbage organization. You're cheap. You never do things.
You never go for it all in.
Never. Never. And Tampa they do have baseball people that obviously know their stuff because they find talent. But they never keep their guys. So it's garbage. It doesn't mean anything to me. Just like the A's. I get it. For the money they spend, they maximize what they do. I understand all of that. And that's all well and good, and that's nice, but that and a cup of coffee gets you absolutely nowhere. Okay? Where are the titles? You know what I mean? It's like you can brag to me all you want about Moneyball, but Boston and the Cubs, they go, yeah, we like that Moneyball stuff, but we like it with money. And then they did it, but with money. And oh, wow, they won titles. Oh, I see. Okay, that's how it's done. It's really cute, the whole Moneyball thing, but what have you won? I mean,
both of those organizations are like on the cusp, and you just got to go a little further, and they never ever do.
Never do. And so that's why, to me, I don't ever respect the Rays or the A's because you don't do what you're supposed to do. And the sad part is you actually have baseball people that can find talent. So half the battle's already won. You know how to identify talent. So if you know how to identify talent, then why wouldn't you make a commitment to players? Because you're pretty good at identifying talent. So you won't identify the wrong people. You're not going to give the wrong people money, probably. There's a good chance if you're in the Rays organization the few people you do give money to, they're going to be pretty damn good players for you for a long time. So why not do that? I mean, like the Dolphins, forever they couldn't figure out how to run the organization and put the right people in place. The Marlins, they also did the same thing that the A's and the Rays did. They used to find talent, but they couldn't keep it. So those organizations, they can actually find talent and they can't keep it. Bad organizations. That's what they are. It's if the Dolphins drafted Zach Thomas and Jason and Sam Madison and X and everybody, and they constantly got rid of all their guys before their big contracts, what would that mean? Okay, they know how to find them, but who cares if you can't keep them? And that's where baseball, for me, baseball has, as a guy that loves baseball and watches it still, it's just, I've lost interest myself, and with the way, and doing this every day of my life, I've noticed how people don't really talk about it anymore. And why? Because unfortunately the Marlins have not made us a baseball town. Pat Riley forced you to be a basketball town. It's actually become the number one sport in this town, basketball. Even though we're a football town, basketball's been the number one sport for several years because it's the organization you can count on. Now the Dolphins are going to come back. Hopefully Manny Diaz figured it out after year one, and then because he can't have another season like he had last year. If he does, look, I wasn't on the fire Manny bandwagon thing last year at all. As bad as it was, never said that because I didn't want to do that. But another year like last year, and yeah, you definitely have to crap can his ass. So just to me, it's interesting to see what's going on with baseball and how out of touch they are with everything going on. Everybody else is figuring out a way to come back healthy. That's all, which by the way, should be the hurdle. It shouldn't be about money. You know what I mean? All the other businesses in this world, money's a real big factor for them. And while here's my problem with pro sports and the pro sports owners. I want you to know I have no sympathy for you. Okay? That's my message to all pro sports owners. Okay? I have no sympathy for you. You mostly are all billionaires. You got plenty of money. So 1 year that you're not cutting profits and you're not making money, I don't feel sorry for you, bro. Because you've been making money hand over fist for decades. And you've been lining your pockets. And you know what I hate? Is that while you're lining your pockets and you're having some of your more successful years, you're not giving any extra money to your employees. You're not giving them bonuses. You're not giving the players, hey, besides winning the World Series, we profited this year. Our profits were up 25%. We want to share 10% of those profits with the employees. No, you keep all 25% of those extra profits, and you don't share with anybody. So now that the losses come, you expect everybody else to endure the losses more than you. I'm sorry. Mark Cuban is paying all of his employees. That's what he should do, bro. He's a billionaire. Okay? He can crap money. He can clean his butt with $100 bills and not miss a beat whatsoever. So to him, to pay the people in the Mavs organization for an extra couple of months, what does he lose? $3, $5, $10 million? What's that for a multi-billionaire? Please, what is that for Mark Cuban? It's like $2 for you and me. Maybe $1. And so that's where I admire Mark Cuban. That's why I went out of my way to, hey, thank the Marlins, man. That's really kind because I see what Oakland's doing. And the Panthers are paying their employees through the pandemic. Why? Vinny Viola's a freaking billionaire, bro. Meanwhile, the Boston Bruins guy's not. So Viola, Mark Cuban are doing what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be a mensch in this situation. You're a billionaire, bro. Your secretary works and lives month to month. Your guys that take care of the hardwood, the field, the ice, whatever the hell it is that you play on. Those people live week to week, month to month like you and I. I have no sympathy whatsoever for owners. Although I will say this, I have a little sympathy, and not because I work for him, but I have some sympathy for Jorge Mas, and I don't know exactly the name of the owner in Nashville, but damn, those are expansion teams. I mean, that I do have a. I mean, come on, man, you spent all this money and you haven't even made any money yet, bro. You haven't even had a couple seasons under your belt. You know what I'm saying? So that I do have a little sympathy for those kind of owners that, man, they just started their teams and we got a pandemic. That's kind of rough. But everybody else, come on, man. You've been at this for years. You've been making money. NFL owners have been printing money for years. What, that this year you're not going to make that much? I don't feel sorry for you. Do the right thing. Pay your employees. You're billionaires. This is not going to hurt you in the long run. It's a setback for you, but that's like you and me losing $1. Okay, we lost $1. It sucks, but all right, it's not the end of the world. We'll make up for it. We lose 1,000. Hey, that creates a lot of problems. But for these owners, man, that's the part that I have no sympathy for you, man. And I do want to praise the ones that are actually supporting their employees during these tough times, like Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu, that are paying the Panther employees throughout the pandemic. Mark Cuban, the Marlins paying their minor leaguers. And, hey, how about the Marlins, man? It's not like they are, printing money like the Yankees, the Cubs, and the Red Sox, and the Dodgers.
No,
okay?
They're definitely on the lower end of
They are on the
earners.
lowest end of the payroll in Major League Baseball. They're one of the lowest 5, I'm sure. Lowest 3 probably in generating revenue, and yet they're going to pay their minor leaguers through August.
The thing that's hard for the owners
move, man.
to have sympathy when it's something that doesn't affect you. You really don't even feel it.
Right.
And for you to not do it, to help people,
right.
and to not chime in, are you serious?
I know
what is wrong with you?
I know that if I worked for the A's organization and I was laid off by the owner, I would do my best to not have to come back to that job. I would do my best to find another job because I won't go back with a good feeling because I already know what you are and you're not a good human being and you've got all the money and yet you're not willing to help the people that work hard for you every single day and you can afford to do it. That's the worst part about all of this.
It doesn't touch you.
It doesn't affect you at all. And that's why what Viola and Sifu are doing with the Panthers, that has to be commended, man. That's the kind of stuff that you admire. That's why they're great owners. They really are. They got to make a change at general manager, and they're great owners, and eventually they'll do it because, I mean, Dale Talon's kind of proven in 10 years now that he really can't get it done. But it just, to me, that's where this whole baseball thing is just so odd. And the worst part is that we all see the decline in baseball. They see it too, and yet they do nothing about it. And they don't know how to do anything about it. And every other sport's passing them up. It's nuts, man. Football and basketball have pulled away. That baseball will never catch up. The MLS is breathing down their necks. And soon enough, the MLS will pass them. And because that's the growing sport for young people in this country. And I know that in our town, Inter Miami is going to be an absolute monster. It's going to be one of the marquee events in town for years to come now. So I know that the people in the Marlins, what I like about what at least I don't see it from, not seeing it from baseball, but at least from the Marlins, I'm seeing an effort. I'm seeing an effort on social media. I'm seeing an effort in the media. I'm seeing an effort by their front office, by their players. They're trying to connect. Now, ultimately, Jeter and Sherman have to prove that they can develop, win, and create a culture that is year in and year out and win the trust, and then eventually we could get to that point. But, they're a long ways away, but they better hurry up because Inter Miami's not going to mess around. They're going to be adding stars. And so the summers, they're going to look to own those summers. And the Marlins are going to have to work really, really hard to win those summers over. All right, 786-322-1105 is the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You can also reach out to me on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. Shamar says, Big O, can you talk about coronavirus for hours, but want to talk about the injustice that's going on? Shaking my head, unsubscribed. Well, first of all, Shamar, we already talked about yesterday the injustice and talking about the different cases. So I'm not sure if you tuned in. If you didn't, the segment's there for you to watch or listen. But we talked a lot about Christian Cooper. We talked about the George Floyd situation. We talked about the loser in the gym, Tom something. I forgot the name of that idiot, that racist in the gym. But, yeah, we talked about it yesterday. It's absolutely disgusting what's going on. And you can check out that segment there. It's on there. Remember, we're not a radio show per se, that we're on a station that we have to kind of repeat the same segments over and over and over again because the audience turn over every 15 minutes. So they want you to repeat the headlines every hour, and at least for a segment in that hour, you have to kind of repeat the top news and kind of go over whatever it would be. This is a different format. We try to give you, somewhere between 3-4 hours of talk every day, and it's usually different subjects. So we don't have to repeat things because everything is podcasted. This guy working next to me works his ass off every day to podcast all the audio segments. Philippe does it on the video side. So that way, if you miss something, I tell you it's there, and you can go find it, and then you can hear about whatever you're asking about. It'll be there, So if I talked about it. So that way you don't really miss the segment. You can actually listen to it.
Go check out your podcast sites. It's segment number 9 from yesterday. Technology helping expose racists. Keep it up, America.
Look at that. Bill even tells you the number of the segment. Segment 9 and everything yesterday. So there you go.
And it's a 28-minute segment.
Yeah, it's pretty thorough.
Yeah, you didn't leave anything out,
No. No. By the way, we got the first super chat of the day, and he is a usual Tommy Italian 305. What? Super chat.
No way.
Yes way. No way. Yes way.
They were fantastic.
Super chat. Thank you, Tommy Italian 305 for life, my man, chiming in on the super chat as always. It's every day, man. Thank you, Tommy. You are too kind, man. Very, very nice, man. Appreciate you out there. A little roll call. We got Ty in the Bronx in the house. Miami fan for life, 305. Big O, what do you think of Max K saying the Pats can make the playoffs this year? I think there's a 24-hour news cycle, and you kind of got to talk about it, and you got to create any kind of talk that you can. And the Pats become the Pats are, look, the thing about the Patriots is they are this lightning rod subject, right? Because of all the winning, you hate them. Because of all the winning, you're dying for them to lose, right? Then you've got all the cheating scandals going on. And so people obviously hold that against them. Spygate, Deflategate, you name it, the Bengals gate, all of that. What did we name that Bengals gate one? What was that one called?
When you associate having to cheat and Bengals in the same sentence, it speaks to like they were trying to cheat. Who?
What was that gate? Because we had Deflategate and we had Spygate. And this was another Spygate version of it. But what was it called? Bungles Gate? I don't get it. I don't remember that one. I don't remember what gate we gave it. But it's such a hot button subject, the Patriots. And I think a lot of people are going to take pleasure in watching them crumble too, because that's how we are in this society. We'll build you up and then we love to tear your ass down. You know what I mean? That's just the way to, let's build Tiger up and then let's tear him down every chance we get, you know? It's kind of what we do. We build up all of our presidents, we vote them in, and then we tear them all down, every one of them. Doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on, we tear them all down. And so it's what we do. And the Patriots, it's people have had enough of the Patriots. You know, it's kind of when the Bulls were on their run, you got enough of Michael Jordan. When Kobe and Shaq were doing that, I've seen enough. You know, when the Yankees go on there, enough. The Red Sox got annoying to a point. Hell, the city of Boston got annoying because every team was winning titles there. You know what I mean? So this is kind of part of it. And it's a subject because there's also this aura around the Patriots and the culture and everything that was in place for the Steelers for many years until Chuck Noll left. And it was in place for Tom Landry, and then it kind of ran out of gas until Jimmy was able to then resurrect it. And it was smoking red hot with Walsh. And then, you know, a little bit of Seifert, but it kind of died out, and it's over. And it was over for a long time till recently, pretty much. And so dynasties come and go. Cultures rise and fall. And I think that's what kind of a lot of people with the Patriots, that's what the discussion is. Will the culture continue? Will the winning continue? Is Jarrett Stidham the guy? Because if he's not the guy, then, you know, how does Belichick overcome it? And the interesting part about it is we haven't seen Belichick minus Brady. And you can tell me all you want about 2008, but that's an aberration. That's just 1 year. It was a great team that lost its player, and that great team carried a really mediocre quarterback to an 11-5 record. And there have been 9-7, 10-6, 11-5 seasons all throughout the history of time. That really didn't mean a lot. Kind of like Miami's 11-5 in 2008. It really meant nothing because you weren't building to anything. It was a flukish year. You won on some wildcat crap early on in the season, and then that thing ran out of gas, and that team ran out of gas. But it was flukish. There was nothing substance about it. So my point is that this is what the mystery we're trying to solve, and this is the riddle that we keep cranking that box, and then the clown comes out, and we don't know what it's going to be. We have no idea what the jack-in-the-box is. Is it a bunch of wins and that they continue winning and they do enough to get in the playoffs, or they lose and they're out? Max Kellerman, he thinks they can make the playoffs. I think they're not even going to get to 500. I think they're going to be a bad football team. That's just me. I've watched great coaches lose it. I've watched all kinds of dynasties and great coaches and the demise of all that kind of stuff. So that's the problem that I think we are prisoners of the moment at times, and we think we kind of forget that greatness comes and goes. And I think it's time for it to go now. I think Belichick had his run, and I think he had his run with his great quarterback. Now, unless I like Jarrett Stidham as a project, unless he is even better than what I thought, okay, and he could actually become a quarterback this year in his first full year starting, I would be really shocked. That would be a real surprise. Jarrett Stidham has all the talent to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. He can do anything and everything you need in the NFL. All right? He and Drew Lock were two of the project-type guys that I liked last year in the draft. But I still don't think he's ready to lead a team right now. Kid's green. Can't expect that. I think the Patriots are going to struggle in a big-time way, and I think the Dolphins and the Bills are going to have an opportunity here. And no, I don't put the Jets in there because I don't buy Adam Gase. And Sam Darnold still is a sack of turnovers anyway. And with Adam Gase coaching him up. So that's my Patriot take. Hey, by the way, we're out here at Toyota of Hollywood like we are every single Thursday. I see Herbie Lopez out there. I see Steve Ostrob. I'm looking right now at the Toyota Corolla 2020 LE. You can get it for $159 a month. All right, so get on out there. Sign and drive lease for $287. The Corolla SE hatchback, you can get it for $233 a month. $318. Sign and drive. The Camry LE. You know, I tell you all the time about my XSE that I love. Well, the LE, we got it for $199 a month. All right, or $306 sign and drive, folks. Got the Toyota RAV4 for $284 a month. The Tacoma SR5 double cab, two-wheel drive, $215 a month, folks. So many great options for you. The Highlander L, $389 a month. These leases are for 36 months, folks. And don't forget, whether you're buying or leasing a vehicle out here at Toyota of Hollywood, they can give you 90 days, no payments. All right, so during this transition, we know it's not easy for you right now. They're making it easier for you. So if you've got that car that's breaking down on you, it's costing you more actually than actually owning a car every single month. And right now is the time to come on down to 1841 North State Road 7, just a couple blocks south of that big, beautiful guitar. Come on out here. Tell them that Big O sent you. Come see Steve Ostrob, Herbie Lopez, all the great guys out here. They will definitely take care of you. Gary Thompson, Rick, Eddie, Joel Rubio, all of them are out here waiting for you at Toyota of Hollywood.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's
it's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right. Having some fun there talking to Steve Ostrob and Herbie Lopez. Boys are out here at 1841 North State Road 7. You know, I'd never worn this. Isn't it? You know, I had never worn this shirt. Is this like an absolutely badass Saxon shirt?
Is that when you guys were over on the West Coast and did the meet and greet in the hall?
Yes. I think this was one of the meet and greet ones. Yeah.
And you bought an extra large?
Yeah, of course.
And it fits.
Yeah.
The medium O.
Yeah. Well, I got a little larger here during this damn pandemic thing. I got to get back to losing a little weight here. But yeah, it was, I saw it today in the closet. I'd never worn it. And I was like, man, this is actually pretty nice. So if you're a Saxon fan, like I am, of course, then you'll like it. If you don't like Saxon, then, you won't care about the damn shirt. Myron Sanchez says, dude, Sam Darnold will never succeed with Adam Gase. End of conversation. I'm with you, man. I'm just not an Adam Gase guy. You know what I'm saying? Damn, Tommy Italian for life 305 again chiming in on the Super Chat.
What's going on in there?
Super Chat.
Excuse me a sec. What are you babbling about?
Super Chat. Super Chat.
We'll all
Super Chat.
It'll be anarchy. It's out of my hands.
It's out of my hands. Tommy Italian says, why is Sam Darnold getting so much love, Big O? All I'm seeing is Darnold is the better QB. Did I wake up on a different planet? No, you didn't, dude. No. I mean, look, Sam Darnold can play. Okay, he could throw the ball. He's got QB instincts. But the one thing that I have not seen him shed is that he's a turnover machine. He was a turnover machine at USC, and he's had his moments there with the Jets where he's gone and he's seen ghosts. I'm sorry. When I start seeing a QB like, hey, I'm seeing ghosts, I just, this is one of those guys to me that's kind of wired that when there might be some chaos, he might get flustered, and you might actually force this kind of guy into key mistakes and key moments. That's kind of what I feel from Sam Darnold. And he's not the first quarterback that I look at and I say, well, the dude can play, but he has this thing about turnovers in key moments. Man, I wonder who that is. Oh, Tony Romo. Yes, I'm sorry. Anyway, so, things, I've seen this before in certain guys. And like I said, the guy can play, but I don't trust him. I could never trust that guy at all. If he was a Dolphin, I would tell you this is what I worry about with this kid all the time. Is what I fear with him is turnovers. And I'll tell you this at least with Sam Darnold. That is his one thing that I worry about. It's not really about accuracy. It's not about him not having pocket instinct. It's not him about a lack of intelligence. No, all the other things that quarterbacks do, he's got mobility. He can really do everything. But he has this thing about turnovers. And it's something that you can't answer. You can't explain it with Jeff George. You can't explain it with Tony Romo. It's just something that certain guys have in the history of time, that they were really good, really talented guys. But you knew that at one point or another, Jake Plummer was going to screw you. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. And there are certain quarterbacks that are like that in the history of in my 53 years on this earth and watching a lot of football like I have, there are just certain quarterbacks in the history of time that you know they've got the talent and the skill set, but at one point or another, that quarterback is going to burn you. And you know, and you play with them because there aren't 26 or 28 or 30 or 32, wherever the league's been, 24, whatever, back in the day. It doesn't matter what number of teams you've had in the history of the league, you've never been able to find a league full of quarterbacks. So you will take chances on some of those guys that are really talented and they've got a high skill set, but they've got a knock. Whatever it is, they choke, they turn it over, whatever. There's something about them, and you have to roll the dice with those kind of guys. And Sam Darnold gives me that impression that he's that guy that will always disappoint you at one point or another. It's just hard to explain. Michael from Vermont says, want to know if Marino ever talked about playing behind Strock, and if he learned from him. Will Tua really learn anything from Fitz, or will he have the it factor? All right, Michael. Well, first of all, yes, Marino learned a lot from Don Strock. Don Strock, he called the spike play. That was his call. Stroker taught Marino that was one of those things that Marino loved about playing for the Dolphins, that he loved Don Strock. Because Stroker was a guy that could talk his language. I mean, we all kind of feel that if Stroker would have gotten a chance early in his career, because by the time he went to Cleveland to start, he was already old at that point, man. It was just kind of like it was trying to do something to do it because he had never done it before, and he had a full career already at that point. But I think all of us kind of feel that Stroker might have been a decent starting quarterback if he would have never been Marino, because, he's not going to be that kind of guy. He wasn't going to be Montana. He wasn't going to be any of those kind of guys. But he might have been a decent starting quarterback if you would have given him a chance from the get-go. The fact that you had such a competent backup for so many years there, it was a gift. And yes, Marino many times talked about how much he appreciated having a guy like Strock to lean on, and a guy like Strock that could be his eyes, that would tell him things that maybe Dan didn't see at the moment. Stroker, come on, man. Stroker knows his stuff. Anybody that's dealt with Don Strock and covered him, I know that the FIU stuff, there was a little ups and some downs there, but that guy knows his stuff, man. That guy knows his X's and O's. So, yes, that was definitely a positive. And as for Tua learning from Fitz, oh, yeah, he's going to learn a lot from Fitz. Here's where let me explain something. Here's where Michael from Vermont, here's where you're falling into the rut that I fell into, and I made a mistake last year with Fitz. And I said, hey, this is just a bridge guy. This is not important. This is a guy that's got a bunch of turnovers. He's not really going to help out that much in this process. It's just play him for a couple games, get to Rosen, and get him out of here. And I was wrong. I was dead wrong. Fitz was a guy that what I learned from him last year was that he understood the position he needed to be in for this team. And he was willing to be that guy. And not about his stats or his game. It was about what was best for the team. And then what was best for the team in the process will be best for whoever's backing him up. And I think that's kind of what went on last year. And I think, Rosen didn't take steps forward because it's his own fault, not Fitz. I think Fitz did enough to show you how to overcome adversity left and right, whether it's pass rush, whether it's lack of running game. I'm sure in the classroom, he knows what to do. Just because he's made a lot of mistakes and thrown a lot of interceptions doesn't mean he doesn't know what he's doing and what he's seeing. And so I think that Tua will be able to learn from Fitz how to prepare. I think Tua is going to learn from Fitz all the habitual things that Fitz already has in that file cabinet of his, because he knows that coach and this coach, and he knows that offensive coordinator and that defensive coordinator, and he knows all their kind of tendencies. And by knowing those tendencies, he's going to be able to pass that on to Tua. And so then Tua is going to learn how to learn about all those tendencies. And he's going to sit there with Fitz and watch film, and Tua's going to pick up little things that defensive players are doing to give away what they're going to do. And Tua's going to be able to learn that. So everything that comes from knowledge, from experience, from habit, Fitz has that from 15-plus years of doing it in this league. It's priceless what he knows. And so, yes, there's a ton for Tua to learn. Okay? We got another super chat. Myron Sanchez, baby, chiming in.
I know that, dude. Where'd you get this?
Super chat.
Oh, gnarly.
Awesome. Totally awesome.
Love it. Thank you, Myron. He says, U2 fan says, best band in the world. Love you, Bono. Greta Van Fleet, learn from the best. I love it. I love it, Myron. There you go. Mentioning a little Greta, too, in the process. I like it. I like it. Folks were asking me this morning about the link to the Dolphins Bears game that I showed you yesterday. So a lot of people weren't watching. Most of the people aren't watching the show. Like this is like you guys are the few and the special because you get the show before everybody else. But most everybody, they listen to the show later on. And so I started getting stuff last night and this morning. Hey, can you share the link of the Dolphins Orange Bowl game against the Bears where they snapped the Bears' undefeated streak? And so I put it up there. It is on my Twitter page at Big O Show because it's a remastered version of it. And listen, if you have a smart TV at home, a nice large one, I suggest you get onto YouTube and use that link and watch it and enjoy because it is glorious. Okay, because think about it. You get to kind of relive the Orange Bowl, too, again. And it's Dandy Don Meredith, okay, along with it's Frank Gifford is what it is, right? Yes, it's Gifford, O.J. Simpson, and Joe Namath calling the game, okay? And I'm also really it reminds me, not that I'm freaking out on it or whatever, surprised. But it also reminds me of how brutally honest the broadcasters were, too, in those days. Because you'll see that Marino's kind of off early in that game. And Joe's like, hey, man, Marino's off. He's missing this one. He's missing that one. Danny's not sharp right now and all that. So they were like, they were critical of the superstar quarterback and everything at that time, and even of the coaching. And I think it was OJ was like, Walter's averaging 5 yards or more a carry. Why are they not giving him the ball enough early on? I think Ditka's making a mistake here and all that. And they were using Suey more than they were using Walter early on, which was kind of weird. So, watch the game if it interests you whatsoever. I normally don't like to go back and to do all the reminiscing like nowadays. It seems like that's half the things they're doing on radio and television. All that is that they've got to go back, and I get it because it's hard to fill. And if you can't talk, and you really aren't, I think the people that aren't really passionate and follow sports on a heavy basis, I think they struggle to do sports talk every single day. They've got to go to fluff, and they've got to go to other things because they don't have the skill set in order to really talk sports every day. And on TV, we're watching it a lot where they are running out of things to do and say, and so they have to then also now go back into the past. And I'm not one of those like, oh, let's go watch this game from, a year ago or 2 years ago or three months ago. Or I don't care about that. That's
a perfect example is last night, Sugar Ray versus Hagler, and you weren't watching.
Yeah, I wasn't watching. I mean,
watching. We both. Yeah. That's your favorite. I love Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
Can remember him in the Olympics.
Yeah.
I think it was his 4th or 5th fight.
Yeah.
Wide World of Sports, like the 3rd or 4th round. He's facing the corner. The bell rings. He turns around and literally runs across the ring. Doesn't let the guy even take a step in, and that was the end of the fight.
Yeah.
Sugar Ray, yeah. And the fact that you didn't even watch a minute of Hagler is a perfect example of not watching sports.
Yeah, not
rerun, redone.
No,
bye.
But I was so amazed at how clean that video is. And how clear it is, because normally when you watch old stuff like that, it's grainy, it's fuzzy, it doesn't look good.
Especially the OB at night.
Yeah.
The night game's got that grainy.
Oh, my Lord. That thing looked like they HD'd that bitch. All right? That's how clean that thing is. That's what amazed me about it so much, is how much they cleaned up that video. I kept trying to find myself in the stands. When they aim that way, I go, can I see myself? Because that's how clear it was that you could actually make out the people in the stands. And I'm like, wow, that is so awesome what they can do with some of the video nowadays.
You know what? I'm willing to bet that the guys that cleaned up the Dolphin-Bears game are the same guys that got a hold of the old Doors video.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen it, and it's like,
man,
there's a guy sitting on the speaker on the stage. Yeah. Never seen that guy ever before,
Yeah.
It's got to be the same people,
right?
Or
at least the same kind of material, equipment, program, whatever it is. William Fontesiela says, Big O, any big-name free agents left that you'd like to see the Dolphins pick up? Logan or maybe Peters to show the rookies some tricks? No, it's Larry Warford is the guy that I would like to pick up. Logan Ryan wouldn't be bad either. But I would like to pick up Larry Warford. That's the guy I would like to pick up. No doubt. I would like to add that guard. To me, that is really important. Logan Ryan would be the other one as a B. Peters is 800 years old at this point. No. And he's had his share of injuries. I just worry. I mean, the guy's like, I want to say like Peters is like 38 years old or something. It's like really old for an offensive lineman. That's one guy that no. I'm going to tell you that it has to be Larry Warford or Logan Ryan. Rosendo says, what I miss more of the Orange Bowl is the noise level, pure football noise, but I don't miss the bathrooms. Well, Rosendo, it's hard to miss the bathrooms, and, there's a lot of things, but that dump was our dump, and it was such a great dump. King Short is chiming in. Kenneth in Cleveland says, Big O, do you think Tuna will learn. Tua, you mean, not tuna. Tua will learn from Marino. I think Marino will pass on a couple of nuggets, but I think the guy that he will learn more from is Fitz, because Fitz is playing the game right now. So there you go. Ken Walker says, just chiming in, what link is Big O talking about? Ken, go to our Twitter page. I put out the link. It's a remastered version of the Dolphins and the Bears in 85, and it is just a thing of beauty. George Albanese says, Big O, Strock was a great backup, but it did not translate to being a great full-time starter. I would argue he should have been put in during the 83 Super Bowl versus the Skins. Yeah. No, I don't think he would have been a great starter. That's what I said. But I think he might have been a serviceable starter in this league. Remember, again, there aren't, 26 good ones, 32 good ones, whatever era you want to talk about. So I think he would have been, a lower-end starter, but he might have been when he was younger. By the time he went to Cleveland, it was too late at that point, man.
Was it a Monday night game when he came back?
Yes.
And we all went bonkers. It was Monday night, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes, it was.
What was that, over $50,000, I think? Was that the number that was the difference that Strock left?
I don't know. You know
what?
It
was like 50, 75. It wasn't 100.
You might be right. I just don't remember exactly. But you might be right. You might be right. All right, let's do this. We got 1 hour down already, which is freaking amazing. At 1:10, Craig Mish is going to join us. So we'll talk to the Mishmeister. We'll talk a little baseball with Craig Mish. At 1:30, David Dwork is going to join us from WPLG and Chirping the Cats podcast. We'll talk a little Oki with him, as the Panthers have, kind of made the playoffs. Kind of, I guess.
Yay, kind of, sort of, and not so yay way.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to get pumped up about the Panthers. I'm pumped up about the playoffs, but I'm just so nervous that this is going to be a quick exit against the Islanders. You know what I mean? It's just they've never really shown me anything that resembles the kind of toughness and the grit that you need in the playoffs. So it's hard for me to feel good about it. But anyway, we'll talk to Craig Mish at 1:10, David Dwork at 1:30. We'll continue with your phone calls. We also got to do on the other side, 'cause I just saw it a little bit ago, we'll answer your texts on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you got any questions, you can chime in on the YouTube chat board, on the Super Chat. And, of course, Moody's Dental, proud sponsor. We love the Moody's family. They know how to get it done. I'm doing my Invisaligns right now, straightening those teeth out. You can do it, too. If you got a cavity, you got a filling that maybe is falling out. You need to fill that back up again. Maybe you need a root canal. You're in pain. Let's get you out of pain. We can take care of you right now. 305-821-0231. When this pandemic is over, if you want to clean your teeth, you want to get back, you've been dirtying your teeth up in quarantine all day long, eating and all that, right? You want to clean up those teeth? Call Moody's Dental, 305-821-0231. You can follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Better yet, go to the website, moodysdental.com.
What's going on in there?
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We back. Welcome back to Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. Come on out here and say hi. As we got all kinds of people, as Rick Smith, by the way, is walking around here waiting to take care of you out here at Toyota of Hollywood. I see Herbie Lopez working hard there. He is waiting for you, so come on out to 1841 North State Road 7. Really easy to get to, and we've kind of been on a little bit of a roll. Some of you out there have been coming every week out here to visit us at Toyota of Hollywood. So thank you all, whether it's here or at Acura tomorrow in Pembroke Pines, which will be at Craig's Inn tomorrow, starting off at 11 o'clock. What do we got here on the chat board? Let me see. Let's get to the accidentlawfirm.com text line, as I promised, because obviously that text line is always active here on the program. And if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, Jesse in Minneapolis says, you've got that right on the Central Park woman, 100%, bro. Yes, she is. She was as disgusting and vile of a human being as it gets. RVA Richmond, Virginia says, how about Miami homegirl, cocaine cowboy, the Black Widow? What are we talking about here? I'm trying to figure out what was that, RVA? You got to fill me in on what was I talking about, because it might have been over 24 hours. Big O, do you think you can watch the Bears-Dolphin game on demand if you missed it? That's the beauty of YouTube, right? It's always on demand. I was on WFAN last night, and I talked to John Jastrzemski. He's a big Dolphins fan, and I asked him if he's ever listened to the Big O Show podcast. He said no, but he knows you're in Miami. I told him, please, as one Dolphin fan to another to listen to him, you won't be disappointed. I hope other Dolphin fans heard what I said too. Dolphin fan Jeff from Long Island. Well, I appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. I don't know John Jastrzemski. Don't know who he is. So I didn't know he worked at FAN. I don't listen to FAN, so I wouldn't know. But he's a Dolphin fan, so I guess he's a brother from another mother now. Now I will know that he is one of those fellow Dolphins fans in the media. Big O, and he's in New York. That's got to be a lot of fun for him. Big O, there's no minor league baseball this year, and if Major League Baseball fails this year, then the fans won't be coming back for a while. It will make the strike season of 94-95 season a complete joke. Listen, man, baseball is buried enough already in the sports totem pole. If they want to take the year off, go ahead, man. Go ahead. You want to keep burying your sport and keep losing traction and lose money because unlike other people, I am convinced TV contracts will be going downward for Major League Baseball because there's no way it can go up because there's less interest in the sport every year. Okay? Major League Soccer will be taking away a lot of money from Major League Baseball over the next 10 years. You'll see. The Fish say Tua needs to lose that three-quarter release and learn to throw over the top, or he's going to have to many knockdowns on a line of scrimmage. Word. Who said that? Who said it? I'm sorry. Did Brian Flores say that? Because last time I checked, he's not the first quarterback that can throw three-quarter. It's not. Okay, see, here's where we get to the point of ridiculousness, okay? You might be able to get away with a sidearm throw. Three-quarter throw doesn't matter, or over the shoulder doesn't matter. They all can get blocked. Ryan used to get his ball blocked all the time because it's passing lanes. And so a guy like him has to understand passing lanes. And that's how you don't get your ball blocked. That you understand where the blocking scheme is and then how you line up. You know what the routes are. So then you're going to know which are the windows that you have to look through. Okay? It's not that there are plenty of guys that have had a sidearm throw and they've made a living in the league and a three-quarter throw. And Pat Mahomes actually adjusts his throw to depending on what he needs to make. And in today's and Russell Wilson does the same thing all the time. He throws the ball at different angles. And that's what I would tell you. Russell Wilson Tua does not need to learn how to throw overhead. He needs to learn how to throw in different angles, in different positions. Why? Because when you're moving around, you're going to throw from different angles. So it's not as simple as, well, he's got to throw it over his shoulder. You can throw it over the shoulder, but if you're lined up right behind the left tackle and you're trying to throw that out pattern and you're trying to go over the left tackle and the defensive end, that's going to be pretty rough. Now, if you're slightly to the right, in between the guard and the tackle, and you're making that same throw, wow, I wonder how it'll go. Might go a little easier, right? Because there's a passing lane. So that's what Drew Brees, that's what Russell Wilson, that's what Joe Montana, any of these guys that don't tower 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", and that they can, and they're long and lanky and they can look over everybody. The guys that are shorter, the guys that are 6'2", 6'1", 6 foot, 5'11", 5'10", They got to work with passing lanes. They got to learn how to move. And then that's what makes Drew Brees great, is that he is phenomenal as an anticipatory thrower. He is phenomenal in knowing where his players are going to be. And he's also phenomenal at using the passing lanes. And don't kid yourself. The struggles with Drew Brees early on in his career might have been because he didn't understand the passing lanes. And then, because you're not a tall quarterback, you have to make those adjustments. So it's not as simple as, well, you can't throw sidearm. Well, you can't throw three-quarter. Well, you can't throw over the top. You can throw all of them. It's how you go about it is the key. It's not as simple as, well, if you throw it over the top. Well, if you throw it over the top and you're trying to throw over the guard and the defensive tackle, it's still going to be a hard throw. That's a thing that, Joe Fan throws out there and doesn't really understand the big picture of the whole thing. How much do you learn from sitting and watching somebody ride roller skates? Absolutely nothing. You must put them out there to learn, so that sitting Tua is bullcrap. The best quarterback starts. Yeah, of course, because Aaron Rodgers, he didn't learn anything. You're right, sir. By the way, Marino sat for about, 7 games or something like that. Right? I forgot what game was Oakland, but it was pretty close to the middle of the season. He didn't start either. Big O, is it possible? Oh, and Donovan McNabb also sat his first year, and Peterson played. He went on to have a pretty good career. So has Marino, and he sat half a season. Aaron Rodgers is also headed to the Hall of Fame, sitting several years. No, you're right, sir. Sitting never really helps. Nobody has ever sat before and actually gone on to have a good career. You're right, sir. I forgot about that. Yeah, I appreciate you reminding me that you shouldn't sit. You should start right from day one. Yeah, it helps out a lot. To tell that to Pat Mahomes sat for a year too, sir. Ask Alex Smith. Tell that to Pat Mahomes when he sat behind a vet and Alex Smith, bro. I don't want Tua to end up like Johnny Manziel or Baker. Rushing a play sometimes isn't the best case. Way to go, Miami fan for life 305. Yeah. That's it. Again, it's Joe Fan pulling crap out of his ass and not really thinking about it because you're just a fan. You don't really think about the quarterback position. You don't think about passing lanes. You don't understand the height of a quarterback and how it affects it. You just think that because he throws over the shoulder, he's going to get it over everybody else, which is not true. Because if you don't know how J.J. Watt plays, you're going to get the ball batted down no matter if you throw it over the shoulder, three-quarter, sidearm, submarine. I don't care what you do. He's going to block it. But if you don't know how to anticipate his jump and what he does when you have to pass from his side of the football, that's on you, the quarterback. And it's also on the offensive lineman in their blocking to make sure they keep him down. There's a lot of factors in all of this. And just like, I don't want him to sit. I want him to start right away. Again, you're not thinking. The offensive line, the running game, lack of experience, no offseason. No, I want him to start right away. Even though it makes no sense to start him right away because it's not a regular offseason, but that's what I want because he's the number 1 pick. He's number 5 overall. And then what was the other line he put? He put Tua learning is bullcrap. The best quarterback starts. Oh, DraftKings FanDuel, my man. You couldn't be more off on that statement, my brother. Okay? Nothing wrong with sitting down and learning. And there's, again, this is the part that I think a lot of you, like DraftKings, doesn't understand. There's no hurry here. What are we rushing to? You realize the Dolphins have sucked for 20-something years, right? You do realize that, right? And they haven't won anything for 40. So Chris Greer and Brian Flores are trying to build something sustainable. So in order to build it to be sustainable, you got to make it work first. So let's first build up the offensive line, get that running game going. Howard, Breida, all these cats are contributing. Fitz has got them all in a groove, right? Devontae's healthy, kicking ass. Preston Williams back. Gesicki's making plays, all that stuff, right? And then you bring Tua in. So then you allow his skill sets to then help take the offense to another level. But if the kid has to come in and run for his life and take hit after hit, and the running game is not consistent, and the offensive line is a sieve, how's he going to play well? And then he's taking shots that he doesn't have to take. That's why you have Fitz here. That's why you have Rosen here. Because early on, if Fitz isn't playing well and neither is the offense, guess who I want in there? I want Rosen in there. I don't want Tua. Rosen's healthy, never had a big injury. He's been in the NFL 2 years. He's seen a lot more than Tua. I want Rosen in there. I don't want Tua. To me, if you want Tua in there right away, you don't understand football, you don't really get it, and you're willing to sacrifice and ruin your future with the team by doing that. Again, there is no hurry. None. At all. I don't understand what the hurry is. I get it. Our team has been terrible for a long, long time. But I want Flores and Greer to build this up so it's not 2008. It's not 2016. It's not 2001. You understand what I'm talking about? The few playoff experiences that meant nothing, that you were building on nothing because you weren't coming back. That's not what I want. I don't want to kill myself to just win 9 or 10 games and sneak into the playoffs and then it's over and I got cap problems because I bought too many guys just to sneak into the playoffs. No, dude. I want to build this up with a whole bunch of young guys, teach them all how to win, get a cycle of young guys going, keep the ones that I need are core players, get rid of the others, use them as compensatory picks, and now start the cycle. The cycle of you got good guys, you got great players, and then eventually you get off that gravy train before it's over. And you're turning it over. And now you're consistently good and you're constantly finding talent. And if you can find Preston Williams undrafted, and if you can find Davin Godchow in the 5th round, then that tells me when Chris Greer's got a team that's winning and picking late in the 1st round, he's going to find somebody. He doesn't have to have a top 5 pick to pick somebody. Anybody can find a good player top 5, but can you find Xavier Howard in the 2nd round? Yeah, I can. Oh, okay, great. That's what we need. We need the GM that when you start winning, he can maintain the winning by finding talent later on in the draft. And so far, he's kind of proven that he can do that. So now we'll find out if he builds the cycle up and does what Shula used to do all the time, win and maintain winning. Even though he was picking late in the 1st round every stinking year. But somehow or another, they were a winning team. Pat Riley's teams are rarely in the lottery. And they find ways to win every year pretty much. That's what we want. This whole thing about let's rush. What are we rushing to? You know, it's It's that line from Colors when the older cop is telling the younger cop, who's Sean Penn, and the older cop is the bald guy who's a hell of an actor. What's his name? Damn it, what's his name? He's in Days of Thunder.
You get out there and surf.
He's in Days of Thunder.
Apocalypse Now, man.
Apocalypse Now.
You get out there and surf.
God, he's such a good actor. What's his name, man? I'm so pissed I'm forgetting his name because it's insulting I'm forgetting his name because he's such a good actor. And come on, man. Somebody help me out. One of you have to know who I'm talking about. Anyway, so he there was that moment where Penn wanted to attack really quick, go get the gangbangers, and he was like, you ever hear the joke of the older bull and the young bull, and he says, hey, look at all those cows down there. Let's run down there and go F them. And he goes, hey, why don't we just walk down and F them all, you know?
Let's go down there and get one. And you're like, how about if we just walk down there
and get them all?
And get them all.
Right? Robert Duvall. Thank you. Robert Duvall. That's it.
Phenomenon.
Yeah, excellent actor. Excellent actor. That's what this is. This isn't about rushing in to get a 10-win season like 2016 and 2008 and 2001 and then follow it up with nothing. Because you're killing yourself trying to just get there for one trip. That's not what we want anymore. Let's build this team up so that way they're going to the playoffs this year, next year, the year after, and every year they're a contender, like the Ravens, like the Patriots were, the Steelers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like the Dolphins used to be. That's what this is all about. It's not about rushing down there for one, man. I don't know. We got to get in the playoffs. No, man. That's not the big picture. We got to win a Super Bowl. Is what it is. It's not about 1, 9, 10, 11 win season. It's about many of those double-digit seasons. It's about having many opportunities to go to the playoffs. Because if you only go to the playoffs in 01 and then 08 and then 16 and you haven't been back since, it's because the league was made up for you to be 500. So every once in a while you're going to sneak into the playoffs. Doesn't mean that you're a substance team. You know? So a little patience. I know it has sucked to deal with this team for 20-plus years. But they're not going to overcome and build a dynasty or build a perennial winner overnight. It takes a little while. So let's give them some time, and please give Tua time to grow. I think that's really the important part. Miami Fran for Life says, how much better are the Finns this time next year with another 2 top 10 picks and plenty of money to spend on the cap and your sleeper undrafted free agent signing you have an eye on? Fins up. That's why I love the pace that we're going and the direction that we're going in. Let's see. Richard, don't you want the best possible team for Tua to be protected by and to throw to? Why make him go on the field when we're in phase 2 of a 3-part plan? There you go. I like putting it that way. It's phase 2. Yeah. Unlike the idiots now, they're, hey, the second wave of the coronavirus. I'm sorry, when did the first wave end? Oh, be careful. The second wave of the coronavirus is coming. I'm sorry. People are still dying. People are still catching corona. When did the first wave end? In Brazil now, they're starting to get to their peak now. It's so depressing to see how many graves they're digging in Brazil. Who the hell, who comes up with these stupid ass things? Is there some idiot sitting somewhere going, well, hey, it's the second wave? No, it's not the second wave, dude. It's a tsunami that continues to hit us. The hell are you talking about? Second wave. I'm sorry, when did we kill the first one? I did not know that COVID-19 pandemic was over. It's like, wow, the second wave. The first wave is still crashing on us. All over the world, the first wave is still going on. And people are talking about, oh, the second wave. I'm sorry, I didn't know we went like months or a year without any more COVID-19. All of a sudden, it popped up again. That would be officially a second wave. But if we never killed the first one, you can't have a second wave, folks. I'm just saying.
There has to be a gap, a miss.
Something, dude.
Yeah.
When Jaws 1 ends, okay, and he tells him, smile, you son of a bitch, and he shoots him, and he blows up to pieces. And then you have the second one. That's the second wave. That's the second shark. Okay? So you got to electrocute this one.
Smoke bomb eyeballs.
Yeah, and then you've got the one you got to electrocute. That's third. But you can't call coronavirus a second wave when the first wave isn't done. Now, is this because somebody wanted to have a little catchphrase? We'll call it a second wave. Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. I just wish I was there that moment. So when they go second wave, because, you always need somebody to keep you in check, right? Yeah, we'll call it second wave. And I would have stood up and go, when did the first wave end? And that's when I really would have loved to have seen their faces. Hamana. Because the first wave hasn't ended. I'm sorry. I think every day people are still dying in this country. Okay? I don't know. Several hundred people are dying every day in this country still. Right? Then the number continues to grow. It's over 100,000 now. Right? Okay. So I would like to know when the second wave actually can really start, when the first wave has never finished. Okay? I don't know. Just something that came to mind every time I hear these idiots. Second wave. Second wave. Sound like a bunch of surfers. All right, let's talk about EJD Construction. And listen, if you want to be surfing in your home, I mean, maybe Eric can build you a beach. I don't know. It's possible. They build everything. I'm not talking about a handyman. I'm talking about custom home construction, major home remodeling, okay? So, I don't know, maybe he can build a wave pool there in your house. I have no idea. But I know this. He's had people build like TVs coming out of the roof and walls and all kinds of stuff, from fountains to additions to your home. A lot of families are consolidating because of COVID-19. They've had to move out and they've had to move together. Well, maybe you need to expand your home. Call EJD Construction right now, folks. 305-318-4978. Eric and Company, extremely responsible, COVID-19 ready. They use masks and gloves along with OSHA requirements, and they arrive on their sales appointments with the gloves and the masks. And first responders, you will get developer rates. So call Eric right now and make sure, as always, tell him that Big O sent you. 305-318-4978. Go to the website, EJD Construction, 305-318-4978, ejdconstruction.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we are back. And Michael Mata in the house with a super chat.
Wow.
Recent research has shown
Super chat.
makes no sense.
Yeah, you're getting focused on all the wrong sort of details here. You need to forget about all the normal rules that apply in society.
Wasted no time. Super chat. I thought it was really, 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 really cool.
You should all be very proud of yourself.
I have no response.
Super chat.
That was perfect.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Appreciate you, Michael, as always, chiming in on the super chat. Thank you all always for supporting us every way that you do. Michael says, what up, O? Have you seen Paul McCartney live? I've seen him 3 times, twice at Dodger Stadium and once at the Key Arena. All 3 shows were just amazing. Michael, I have seen McCartney a couple times myself, and I am with you. Amazing concerts as always, because I mean, the Beatles, the solo stuff, the Wings, everything that he's done over the years. And I'm one of those guys that I love the Beatles. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not one of those guys that hates on Paul McCartney and Wings. I actually really enjoy that era and enjoy all that music, and then enjoy a lot of the solo stuff he did.
Band on the Run, man.
Oh, yeah, man,
right?
Please. Yeah, man. Yeah. So many good songs coming up and everything with Wings. I personally would have loved to have seen a Paul McCartney and Wings show. I think that would have been really freaking cool if I had that opportunity to see them together. That would have been that's one of my regrets right there, Michael. Obviously, I didn't see the Beatles, but I've seen Paul McCartney solo. I really would have liked to have seen Paul McCartney and Wings, because I really enjoyed that era. I know it's a little bit more poppy than the Beatles, but to me, the Beatles are still kind of rock and pop anyway, to a certain extent. I mean, considering, the hard rock and the metal that I listen to now, it's just, I could never look at that stuff as hard. You know what I'm saying? But for that time, it was obviously. So yeah, I'm a huge Paul McCartney fan. So yes, and even to this day, if you get a chance to go see Paul McCartney, go see him because he still sounds fantastic, and he's just tied to so many historic songs, and that's the thing that when you listen to Paul, you walk away like, wow, man, I just saw a slice of music history right there because of everything that he's tied to. So yes, I have seen Paul McCartney, and I would suggest to anybody that has never seen him, go. You will definitely enjoy it. People want to feel it's okay, and with the White House pushing this over the agenda crazy, you should see how Nebraska, North Dakota, OKC are just blowing up sad. Still more deaths coming, Tommy and Hialeah. Yeah, no, well, there are certain states in the South. Georgia. I think it's Alabama. There's a couple of states in the South now that are seeing an uptick in COVID-19 cases. And look, I get we have to get open again. I understand this, but the problem is everybody is not responsible enough to do it the right way. And that's the problem. And when you've got people that are all bunched up in Daytona and somebody's making it rain, that's not going to help you. You know what I mean? And when you go to the Ozarks and there's hundreds of people in a pool, that's not going to help. If you're not going to maintain social distancing, if you're not going to wear a mask around other people, then that's going to put you in a really difficult position in order to get over this thing so we can actually kill the curve on this. And we were doing it because we were mostly home. And having said all that, we still found out about people that were holding parties and doing things secretly. And we were still keeping the numbers down. But now when you open it up, see, the problem is we have this perception that we have people think that we're trying to take your rights away. We're not trying to take anybody's rights away. We're just trying to save people's lives. That's all we're trying to do. So that way, when the pandemic is over, it's not like anybody took away your freedoms. You're back out again. I laugh at the people that tell me, well, you got to have your fun. Man, if we're at home for 2-3 months, you're going to live for 60 plus years. So if 3 months out of your entire life is ruined because you're home, which I don't really think it's ruined. I think you can do a lot of productive things at home and enjoy your family, enjoy time, and be safe. I think it's pretty productive. But okay, how many times do you need to go to a club? How many times do you have to go to a football game, a baseball game, a concert? What? You can be without that for 3 months. You'll have the rest of your life to go to concerts. You'll have the rest of your life to go to clubs and parties and everything else. Nobody's taking anybody's rights away. It's just, it's really weird, man. It's just a tough situation that we're in, and we're going to expand the first wave is what we're doing. You know what I mean? What this coronavirus thing is, at least what I think it is, it's a big-ass tsunami that came at us, right, from an earthquake. And then we've had tremors after that earthquake, right? And then there's kind of like a follow-up quake. You know how there are follow-up quakes all the time? Like Puerto Rico's had like 15 quakes in the last couple months. That kind of stuff. And we're just getting like another quake and another tsunami wave and another tsunami. And I think that's what's going to end up happening. Because they open it up, but instead of opening it up and being responsible, we're opening it up and being completely irresponsible. And this is what we're going to get. We're just going to expand this wave once again. That's all. It is saving lives, but it's also taking freedoms. Not saying I'm against it temporarily, but it is what it is. I believe social distancing. I've been doing social distancing for 15 years now, LOL. There is no freedoms. They're not taking away any freedoms. by telling you to stay away from people and stay home, nobody's taking any freedoms away from you. That's the problem. There's this thing like, I don't know, man. It's nobody's doing anything. We're just trying to kill a pandemic, not kill people. That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to, we want to limit you at home. We want to take your guns away. We want to take away your voice. You can't say this. You can't say that. Give me a break, dude. Nobody's doing that. It has nothing to do with that. It's not like, well, now that the pandemic is over, now we want you all to stay home and never come to work and never do anything again and just be, vegetables at home. No, nobody's saying that. All we're saying is stay home, stay away from people, let's kill this thing so we can get back to our lives again of enjoying all our normal freedoms. But no, I got to enjoy my freedom. I got to go to a pool with 400 other people. Come on, man. You all understand that testing is being done so much more than it was earlier, so naturally numbers are going to go up. The true number that matters is the actual hospital admissions and death. Exactly. And hopefully we can keep that down. That's what we need. But as you see things develop and as more and more people are going out and more people are on top of each other, then you know what the end result is going to be. More people are going to get sick, and then it's going to lead to more serious illness, and then it's going to lead to more serious death, and then the death rate starts to go up again. And you're already starting to see in some states there's starting to be a little bit of an uptick. And then, they want to downplay it. They'll stop downplaying it until the deaths. When the deaths come, then that's when wait a minute. Big O, I hate to make this a political thing, but you know who people are saying what we are taking their rights away. You know who. I get that. It's funny because even with our president, he's the first one that wants to get it opened, and I agree with him actually to a certain extent, right? But then a lot of the people that maybe believe in some of the things the president believes in, they think their rights are being taken away. Meanwhile, the president is now going after Twitter because Twitter is doing something objectively. And anything that might censor him, now he wants to control it. Interesting. Speaking of rights. It's an interesting time, ladies and gentlemen. Someone reminded me of all the people who protested seatbelt laws back in the day. History is on the side of those of us who try to protect people's lives. Oh, yeah? Yeah, there you go. Right? Idiots like complaining about the seatbelt. Oh, it restrains me or whatever.
You know what's my favorite bumper sticker during that time?
What?
When you buckle up, Bundy, I'll buckle up.
Right.
You remember that?
It's crazy, dude. Crazy. I know. It's just, and again, nobody's restricting your rights by telling you to wear a seatbelt. Nobody's telling you to take your rights away because they are asking you, you know what? Stay home, stay away from people. But it's just the fanatics are on both sides. That's why I'm not a Democrat. That's why I'm not a Republican. Because you have these fanatical, crazy-ass Democrats. You have these fanatical Republicans. And that's what ruins both sides. It's that fanatical approach to everything. And notice it.
Moderation is the key? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because I think both parties are fine, actually, because I don't care about either party. I don't follow either party. But I think both parties have a lot of positives, and then they have their negatives. And then I think a lot of Democrats and Republicans could actually figure some things out, but the extremes are the ones that ruin everything. And that's kind of what it is. At least that's what I see, because I don't care about either side. I don't lean to either side. You know what I mean? So to me, it's a lot easier to look at the negatives of both and even the positives of both. You know? But that's the problem here. Too many people pick a side, and then they're, instead of just picking the common sense side, not the political side. Who cares about the political side? Do what's right. That's it. I don't know. Instead of, I'm a party zombie. I'm going to do whatever my Democratic Party says. I'm going to do whatever my Republican Party says. You know what I mean? It's like, give me a break. It's the same thing I tell anybody that I have this discussion with, because when I have it with a Democrat, they think I'm a Republican. When I have it with a Republican, they think I'm a Democrat. And then when I look at both of them, I say, if either of you think you have actually a good candidate, you're a fool. That's all. Pretty simple, because nobody's got a good candidate. I haven't voted for one on either side in a long, long time that's any good. So knock yourselves out. You guys can argue on each side. Both sides are all screwed up completely. The first wave of Corona has helped me to get my bucket list. 1, watch the Finns beat the Bears on Monday night 100 times. 2, touch my toes once. 3, get rid of my Xmas tree. My man, Dougie Fresh, you still got your Xmas tree? Damn, that thing's dried up by now. That's a fire hazard at this point. Big time fire hazard.
Be like the guy in Better Off Dead and just put on the roof of your car, right?
Right, yeah, definitely. Yes. Tommy Italian 305 for Life says, why can't we all just be smarter and have a little common sense? That's it, man. Game Over 954 says, I'm just saying, don't pretend they aren't suspending rights. They are. They may be for good reason, but they are doing it. They're not suspending rights. We're trying to protect lives. Why do you have to take it so personal? I don't feel like my rights are being violated because I'm home. Why? That's ridiculous. That's the extremist right there. It's not about rights. It's about lives. That's the extreme thinking that I'm talking about right there. That's ridiculous, thinking that way. If they were making you stay home permanently, that's different. They're not telling you, okay, we live in a communist state. No, they're just telling you, hey, stay home so we can stay away from each other. And look at the numbers. They went drastically down. And now we put people back out on the street. We see them starting to tick up again. There's a reason. It's not a rights thing. It's a life thing. Man of 1,005 holes goes, this is why it's hard for me to vote this year. No candidate looks promising on either side. Brother, that's what I am every 4 years. You know? I'm in Bergen County, New Jersey, just across the river from New York City. It was real bad here. My sister-in-law is an ER nurse. She said things are back to normal. Time to systematically and responsibly open up. Exactly. I don't mind opening. I want to open up. I'm with the president on opening up, where I'm not with the people, because it has nothing to do with Trump or any politician. I'm not with the idiots in the Ozarks. Okay? That's what I'm not for. You enjoy your freedoms, dude. Get out there. Go to the supermarket. Go do it. But don't pile in with 400 other people in a pool. That has nothing to do with any political side, by the way. That's where you don't make it political. That's just stupidity. Okay? The people in the Ozarks are a bunch of morons. Not Republican morons, not Democratic morons. They're just morons. Okay? The morons in Daytona that's what they are. They're idiots. They're idiots. They're irresponsible. They're putting everybody else's lives at risk. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not against opening. We got to open. Just keep your distance. Wear your mask. Do responsible things. Don't pack in a theater. They're not open, but even if they were open, and if somebody's trying to approach you, get away from them and tell them, hey, keep your distance. That's all I'm saying. Nothing wrong with that. I don't even shake hands with Bill. See him every day. And we've been shaking hands for 40 years, dude. Hey, what's up? Hey, I'll talk to you later. 8-foot table, he's on the other side. Every time. We're in our studio, he's on the other side of the studio. But he's the only other person outside of my family that I hang out with. He only hangs out with his family. That's it. And he's got his mother and his father he's got to take care of. So we don't hang around any other people. I'm not going to a pool. I wouldn't even be in that pool anyway with no COVID. But still, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I'll enjoy my freedoms. Like I told him, hey, let's go to Cape Canaveral and go see it. Do you think we would have hung out with anybody? No. He and I would have been in the car. We go right to Cape Canaveral. I think the wife actually wants to go too. And go watch the thing and drive right back. Don't touch anybody. Don't hang out with anybody. Just watch the shuttle take off and come right back. That's it. By the way, you want to do it? Or do we risk Saturday or Sunday? Because it's Saturday or Sunday.
Well, Saturday I've got the AT&T guy coming to upgrade.
Oh, okay. So then we got to hope for a rain out, and then we'll go Sunday.
Sunday I have to go to my storage unit.
All right, you suck.
I mean, think about this.
All right, you suck.
I have to go to my storage unit.
I'll go with the wife.
Create a new account to move my stuff down the hall to a new unit.
I think the wife wants to go. Now I'm gonna have to. Now I have to convince her to go. So since you're not gonna go, I'll make sure the wife goes.
Maybe I could get that done. You know what? Saturday's off. What I'll try to do is do the storage thing Saturday afternoon after the AT&T guy upgrades the.
Well, that's if they rain. If it rains out on Saturday, that they push it to Sunday, then we can go.
Okay, so we need the rain to happen again.
Yeah, because I think it's like 3:30 Saturday and 3 o'clock Sunday are the windows. I think that's what they said.
Okay. We need some rain on Saturday.
Much nicer day today, at least.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even think about that. No rain, no dark clouds in the sky.
It's a beautiful thing.
What the hell is going on here?
Drewbo, by the way, chiming in on a super chat.
I know that, dude.
Where'd you get this?
Super chat.
Oh, gnarly.
Awesome! Totally awesome!
Thank you, Drewbo. Appreciate you, my man, chiming in on the super chat as always. Very nice of you. Game Over 954 says 1% increase in the unemployment rate will cause 37,000 deaths, including 20,000 heart attacks, 920 suicides, 650 homicides, 4,000 state mental hospital admissions, and 3,300 in state prison admissions. Okay, but I'm not saying to stay home. Are you listening to what I'm saying? I have no problem opening up. I want to open up. I just want all of us to be safe. That's all. I don't want you hanging out in a pool in the Ozarks. Let me ask you, out of the 116 people that are on the chat board right now, all of you saw that pool scene in the Ozarks, right? I think you've all seen that scene, right? It's like 400 people in a pool. They're all on top of each other, all over each other, right? I just want to ask, out of curiosity, how many of you are willing to do what they did? Right now, this weekend, go hang out with 400 people, no masks, hanging out at the pool there. I want to know how many of you are willing to do that. Please tell me.
No.
If you haven't seen it, grab your phone since you're listening and watching the show, whatever, and go look at,
I didn't see any of them.
Ozarks pool.
Oh, I didn't see any of them smoking a J to kill the corona.
Oh, that too. Yeah, that too. Yeah. I don't know. Is Missouri legal or not? I don't know if they're recreational or not. So how many of you would do that? I just want to know. I want to know how many have that mindset that you would actually do it. We got another super chat in, and it's a second one by Michael Mata today. We got two folks chiming in twice.
What?
Super chat.
No way.
Yes way. No way. Yes way.
They were fantastic.
Super chat. Michael Mata goes, Bill doesn't suck. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Pat in Asheville goes, oh, Bill, want to go see the lunch? Bill, can't. I got to return some videotapes. We're basically making fun of you for turning down a lunch. And, Pat is in Asheville, so he's got, no shot at going. You are, a 2-hour drive away, and you're like, screw it, whatever. Why am I going to see one of the wonders of the world, a rocket launch into space? What the hell? Why am I going to watch that?
I will juggle. We will do this. We'll have to. Yeah. We need to get out. Dude, we need to get on the road. We have not done anything since UFO, man.
Yeah, I know.
Like, serious.
I know.
For us, thank God we have this. Thank God we have you guys, because if not, we would be like in some serious trouble.
Big time. George Albanese says, 100% regarding politics, Big O. Be open-minded. Always remember that each political party has an agenda that coincides with what they push for. So sad. Yep. That's why I don't pick either side. Never do. Both sides suck. Does Bill in the basement at his parents' house? That's what it sounds like.
No, man, we're in Florida. There aren't any of those.
No basements. I don't fear death. I just don't want to be around that many people, period. Corona. Billy Batson says party time. Ian from Brooklyn says hard pass. EM88 says nah. Billy Batson goes, I fear no death. I just want people to be able to go back to work. I'm with you, right? Just be responsible. Miguel Garcia says, not me. Mark McIntyre, not me ever. Call of Duty 1 says, hell no. Tommy Italian 305 for life says, raining every day here. Oh, it's not raining now. It might be raining where you're at, Tommy, but here in Hollywood at least, it's actually pretty nice. It's a nice sun out there, man. They do have a nice one out there. So, all right. Oh, did you guys see Phil Mickelson? He wants to do the match 3 now. He wants to do this as a permanent thing now because they had the first match. Then they had the first match was just Tiger and Phil. Okay? And that was but this one was actually kind of fun when you add Brady and Peyton Manning to the mix. Now, here's the thing that I have. My issue with all of this is, the TMZ story says, could Michael Jordan be the next legend to hit iron shots with Phil Mickelson against Tiger Woods? The lefty sure as hell wouldn't mind seeing it because Phil says he's trying to make the match an annual event now, hoping to get guys like MJ, Steph Curry to participate. He goes, I think you could showcase guys like Steph and Michael and Tony Romo or Patrick Mahomes, who are all good golfers, elite talents, and have great personalities. Mickelson told the LA Times. Match 2 was a wild success over the weekend. Those personalities are going to come out with this event, or you could have someone who loves the game and is competitive but is really entertaining like Larry David and Bill Murray. I think that could shine. I love this idea. And I said it on Monday that I want more of these because I love what it brings to the table. There's only one part of this story that I'm going to tell you would suck. Okay? Michael Jordan. It would be a thing. We would love it, all of that. Michael Jordan doesn't have any personality publicly. He doesn't bring it. He didn't bring it like in the documentary. It was more about his response to certain questions and things like that they were prodding and trying to find out about his life and all that. So he talked about it. And I'm sure Michael can talk some smack on the court or on the course privately. But it's, you know what it's like? I'll give you an example. And this one's a little blasphemous on my part that I'm going to say this. But I got to say it because I'm brutally honest. And, and he's my boy. And I love him to death. Dan Marino is the guy you want to hang around with at a sports bar, have a beer, and BS with off the air. In the middle of a game, he's probably intense, and, he's willing to rip people. But when you put him in a public-like setting, he clams up. and he's conservative, and he doesn't go all out. And I to me, that's what usually his broadcast career lasted as long as it did because he's Dan Marino, because he's good looking, but not because he was actually pulling a Charles Barkley, dropping some incredible insight, or he never really did that. He was kind of blah when he was on the air. I hate to say it, but I got to be honest. And Dan never really pushed any envelopes when he was on the air. He never ripped into coaches that were wrong or GMs that were wrong or if players were wrong. You know, it was like when he was a player. You might have seen him ripping somebody on the field, but then when Dan got to the press conference, he never ripped anybody. He never threw anybody under the bus. He took the high road every single time. No matter how bad it might have been, even with Jimmy, he took the high road. And that's great in the sense of being a man and a professional and all of that. But as an entertainer, as a broadcaster, it's suicide. And Dan wasn't great television. He was great television to watch, but as an analyst, he was just a guy. For a guy that was great as a player, he was just a guy as a broadcaster. And to me, Michael Jordan is the same guy. Behind the scenes, no cameras, no reporters, you're going to have a blast with Michael Jordan and Dan Marino because they can be themselves and they're comfortable. But then you bring in the camera and the reporter, and Michael Jordan and Dan Marino clam up. And they're not going to open up, and they're not going to be colorful. And so to me, Michael Jordan would not really be that good. Tom Brady's a stiff also. Tom Brady doesn't have much personality. You brought some of it out because of Barkley brought it out of him. But really, it was Phil Mickelson and Peyton Manning carrying the whole thing because Tiger's the same way. You probably could get Tiger in a corner somewhere, have a couple drinks with him, and, you know, maybe he'll let a bunch of F-bombs fly and have some fun. Then when he comes in front of a camera, Tiger, boring, clams up. Some guys are like that. It's not a knock on Marino. It's not a knock on Jordan. It's not a knock on Tiger Woods. They're all great in their own way, but they're really not great television for the entertainment purposes outside of their talents. Yeah, you want to watch Marino play. You want to watch Tom Brady play. You want to watch Tiger Woods play, but you don't want any of them trying to entertain you on television. Not going to happen. So I love the Steph Curry one. Steph Curry will definitely give you color, bro. Okay? Peyton Manning, tons of color. I love that. Tony Romo will be also colorful. Michael Jordan, he's not going to bring it, bro. It's just a matter of watching Michael play golf and all that, but really, you know, if you look at the Tom Brady thing, it only worked out because of the other guys and Charles Barkley. But if that event had to be covered personality-wise by Brady and Tiger Woods, forget it, bro. It's over. Done. So I love Mickelson's idea, but I just think that you got to do it the right way with the right people, and you've got to use people that are characters. If you're going to put somebody out there, put a character out there. Michael Jordan, Dan Marino, Tiger Woods, not characters. They're just not. Big O, you want to go to lunch? Bill, nah. Oxygen Network has a Golden Girls Marathon. Also, have to pay my D&D figurines. Now, D&D is Dungeons and Dragons, right? because that's how I'm understanding it. I just want to, because I'm going totally geek and old, Dougie Fresh. D&D's got to mean Dungeons and Dragons, right?
I think so.
It's
yeah.
got to be, right? Okay, that's good.
Game I never played. Did you ever do that?
Yes, I did, actually.
You did?
Yes, I played. Yeah, man. Me, Isidro, Guille, Jeff. Yeah, I think those were the 4 guys that were playing.
The only thing I know about Dungeons and Dragons was taught to me Big Bang Theory.
Okay, yes, of course. Of course.
When
yes,
Wolowitz does all the voices.
Yeah. And
that was cool.
Dude, we played Dungeons and Dragons when it first came out. Like, I think that was like late 70s, I want to say. Yeah, I'm in fact.
Damn, you were in on the ground floor.
Yes. Yeah, look it up for me. What year did Dungeons and Dragons start? And I'm telling you, it was late 70s. I'm pretty sure we were playing Dungeons and Dragons in the late 70s. Isidro, who was the bigger geek out of all of us, he was the guy that brought it to the table and was telling us about it. And then, like, all right, let's give it a chance. And I don't remember anymore. Again, I was a child, man. I was a kid back in those days. I want to say I got to like 12th or 14th level something.
1974.
Yeah, told you. Yeah, man. Yeah, because I don't think people realize that it started in the 70s. I think people think it's like an 80s, almost 90s game, Dungeons and Dragons. And it's actually a 70s game. Yeah. No doubt. All right, let's do this. Let's take a break. Craig Mish is going to join us here at 1:10. We're going to talk a little baseball because baseball has been very, very good to me. Let's ask him, will baseball get going or will they screw it up? And we'll talk about the Marlins, too. A nice, classy move by the Marlins. Craig Mish joins us next, live from Toyota of Hollywood.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. All righty, we promised you we're going to talk a little baseball because baseball has been very, very good to me. And Craig Mish, well, he's always great to us, always kind enough to join us to talk a little baseball here on the program. Follow him on Twitter at Craig Mish. Mishmeister, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing well, Orlando. What's going on? How are you?
Very good, my brother. I see, the MLS is working its way back. I see the NFL. I see hockey. I see basketball. Everybody's working on getting back, but they're more worried about getting back health-wise. Meanwhile, baseball has got to fight over money, my brother. What the hell is going on, and can these guys figure it out finally?
I don't have the answer to that right now. I do think that they will, and I think that they realize, sort of what's at stake here, because you don't want to sacrifice the future for the present. But it's tough because the players feel that they had a deal done in March, essentially. The owners feel that deal was done predicated on fans returning, and they appear to be at a stalemate at the moment. So the owners are going to have to bend in some way because the players don't appear that they're willing to. And the players that I've spoken to essentially are saying that, they had agreed upon a deal and they're holding fast to that. So it's kind of sad, the state that we're in now with all this, but I believe there will inevitably be baseball.
Yeah, and what are you believing? Did they really agree? Because there's a couple stories out there that they agreed on the prorated deal, but that the owners also and the players, that there was some conversation that if there wasn't fans, that the deal, that they knew that deal was not going to be a good one. Is there any truth to that? And then the follow-up is, now you've got this whole pay scale thing where your biggest stars are taking the biggest cuts out of all of them. That kind of doesn't make sense when those are the guys that actually put fannies in the seats. So walk us through what's real, what's Memorex here, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think the players do have to make some concessions, and I do think that they have to understand that with no fans being there, regardless of what was said or not, that in the 82-game season or 100-game season or whatever it is, I do think that some concessions would have to be made because there are no fans. On the owner side of it, I think using the excuse of not making money or losing money is also something that they're going to have to concede, because essentially the way that at least I look at it is that what you're essentially doing is making a charitable donation because of this COVID for the next 3 months. And you got to take a hit. I mean, you do. I mean, the executives are all taking hits, and I think the ownership does have to take some hit for the betterment of the country. And instead of donating your $1 million or $2 million or $10 million or whatever it is, and you're a billionaire, I think that these owners need to just step up essentially and say, hey, rather than making a donation to a cause, we're making a donation to the country, and we're going to take a hit, and we're going to let the players play, and they'll still be okay regardless. Make no mistake about it. The kind of people that own teams are not somebody that's going to need to worry about their next meal. So I think that's essentially what's going to need to happen, and I do think eventually that it will. As far as what was said specifically, Orlando, in those meetings, I don't know. I wasn't there, and certainly some of the leaks that are coming out aren't indicating specifically what was said either, because at that level, you're talking about Rob Manfred, Tony Clark, and very few others. You're not talking about leadership councils of Major League Baseball teams. And those are the kind of people that I'm able to communicate with. I'm not having direct access with Tony Clark or Rob Manfred, so I don't know the answer to that direct question you asked me.
All right, so then what do you think about Bauer now, dude, going after Scott Boras, because Boras is apparently meddling in some of this stuff, and obviously he controls a lot of the big names in the sport. What are you hearing about what Boras might be doing behind the scenes, and why Trevor Bauer is calling him out?
Well, I think that Scott Boras has a very strong voice in the industry. Mm-hmm. And so when he shares his opinions, there's a possibility that people that do what I do would share those and make them public. I don't know that he has a direct, I don't know if he has a direct effect on this, but if he's willing to talk and come up with ideas, what happens is that those get communicated through the media, Orlando, and then at that point it could be misconstrued as having control over the situation. So I wouldn't look at the two as being the same.
Okay, all right. So, where's the cutoff here, my man? Because we're already at the end of May, and at one point or another, we need to get these guys back out there. It's going to take them a month to get back in a groove easily. So we know that June is gone. If you would start on June 1st, we know they're not starting on June 1st. So where is the cutoff here? At what point can they get those 80 games in?
Yeah, next week sometime they're going to have to make a decision. It doesn't have to be Monday, but I think that by the end of the week, next week, something will have to happen, or else, it's kind of pointless at that point. I mean, there is some sort of soft deadline of June 10th, and the idea would be at that point, if there was a deadline of the 10th, you would give everybody a week to get in. They'll come back on the 17th. Have the week of the 17th to 24th, and then the first week in July, and then start in mid-July, which would still enable an 82-game season. But I think that's kind of it. I think that beyond that, you'd be looking at no season at all, and I don't think that there would be any point to starting a season in August. I know the NHL has essentially said, we don't care, we'll start in August, September, December, January, it doesn't matter. But for baseball, at this point, because they have a collective bargaining agreement and one that's going to have to be looked at in 2021, I think that you're looking at essentially either they start in July or they don't play.
Now, when Max Scherzer says there's no reason to engage with MLB in any further compensation reductions, I mean, I'm with you. I think they eventually will get this done, but there's a part of me here that says there's a major hurdle going on here, and I don't know how they overcome it within a week. So how does that happen?
Well, I mean, I think that it has to come from some other players outside of the leadership council that's involved in the negotiations. They have to basically decide, hey, look, some of the things that we want, we are going to get, and some that we won't. But what the owners are probably going to have to understand is they're going to have to pay the players. They're going to have to pay the players, and they're not going to take less money in a very significant way, which is what the first negotiation tactic was. But Orlando, I just don't know how this is different than in any other negotiation, with the exception of the two sides are leaking it so it can become public to kind of put egg on the face of the other side. And I think that's going to continue to happen. It's very unfortunate for me because, as I put out on Twitter the other day, the last thing that these guys should have understood that you want to do is do this in the day and age of social media where everything is going to come out. Orlando, you remember 1994 when there was a strike.
Yes.
And what happened when there was that strike? What did we do? We sat around all day. Nothing happened. And then at 5 o'clock, we turned on ESPN and we found out through SportsCenter what the latest was. Now, every second of every leak of every minute, we're getting it on Twitter. And that's a bad thing for baseball. And they should have known that this was going to happen. But it's kind of too late for that. I think it will continue. But I do think that eventually they'll realize that it's better for the games to be played than not. And I think that stuff will get itself sorted out.
So, and our last question on this part of the baseball conversation: who does make the concession? Do you think the owners do? Do you think that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they do. It's the same thing as this. It's like, look, you for many years were basically the cream of the crop. When terrestrial radio was worth doing. And it's not anymore. But when it was worth doing, you were the man. You were the midday guy or the morning guy or the afternoon guy. And when the boss at one of the radio stations that you've worked for in the past would have come to you and basically offered you the least amount of money possible, Orlando, there's a good chance that you would go back to them and you would say, wow, this deal sucks. It's insulting. I feel awful. But you just know that they know that they're willing to pay you more, but hey, you never know. Maybe you'll accept less.
Right. And
I just don't think that there's, it's just part of negotiation, I think. And I don't even think that it's a lot more than that. They basically, the owners put two different proposals together that were completely unrealistic, but eventually you come to some sort of middle ground. And I think that the players will come to some sort of middle ground also. And I'm hopeful that next week we'll come back and we'll look at this as just posturing. I can't say that with certainty, but there just aren't a lot of people that I talk to that are overly worried that this isn't going to happen. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's the way it's being portrayed, but I got to tell you, Orlando, every single thing in life that's portrayed on Twitter is negative, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all negativity. There's there's almost no positivity on that app. So I don't see how this is any different than anything else except for we're hearing about the play-by-play. That's it.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Maybe it's because people have short-term memories. I don't. And I'm not a Yankee or an Expos fan. But as a baseball fan, I still haven't recovered from 94 because I know we were headed for one hell of a World Series with those two teams. And I just hope baseball doesn't screw up again and, doesn't have a season and doesn't have a champion. Because I don't think this sport can take that many hits like that. It's already falling down on the totem pole, and they just keep making all these mistakes, and it's baffling to me how it continues with this sport.
I would say that sentiment that you have is accurate in terms of baseball falling down the totem pole. I would say that that's accurate. It's fallen behind football and it's fallen behind basketball, but I don't think that that's going to change no matter what. And where I would disagree with you is that while all of these things have fallen, and somebody like yourself has not been as interested since then, and that's fair, and I think that there are a lot of people that share that sentiment, and again, it's fallen to the third most popular sport. Why are teams, Orlando, still being sold for $1 billion? Why? Why is that still happening if things are so bad? Things are great for baseball, and they still will be. It's just it'll never get back to number one. I mean, football will always be one. And I probably believe basketball will always be two, and baseball will be the third fiddle. And I don't see it falling behind hockey.
Oh no, it will fall behind the MLS by 2030. You can bet your life on it that soccer will pass baseball in the next 10 years because young people care more about it. And as for the money, they're still being sold that way for now. But that turn is coming because less money will start coming in from all these TV contracts because the ratings aren't there, the interest is not there, and these TV companies see that, Mish. So that's coming. That cycle is now going to come to baseball, and they're going to get a little walloped like hockey was, and they're going to get minimalized like hockey, and they're going to be a fringe sport like hockey. That's what baseball's going to become.
Listen, we've been great friends for almost 30 years. We're not going to agree on everything, and this is just one that I won't agree with you on.
Yeah, no, I know, but you're a seam head. That's why.
No, listen. If I was being non-transparent, I would say that baseball's still number one, and it's the best sport in the world, and it's the most popular sport in the world. I feel like I'm realistic with it, and I just don't. And that's no indictment on MLS. I just don't see baseball going anywhere. I think it's stuck where it is. It's not getting better. It's not getting, it could get worse. It could fall even further down. But in terms of popularity in this country, I don't think baseball's going anywhere except for number three. Because I personally don't think anything that's out there, at least to my knowledge, that will surpass it. Now, you have an opinion that MLS will. I don't share that opinion.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, young people, man, it's what they like. International soccer, and I know this league here is obviously grown a lot, and I think over the next 10 years, I think baseball.
Well, let me know when an MLS team gets sold for $1 billion and has that kind of revenue in terms of the television contract in the next 10 years, and then I'll agree with you. Until then, I don't agree.
No, I know that. I mean, they're only being sold now for $500 million right now. They're not being sold for $1 billion yet. They're not at that point. But I mean, the fact that they're already up to that area, that tells you that they're moving in the right direction. Considering it's a league that was losing money 20 years ago, now it's a league that's making money. And again, young people, man, it's what I see.
You could be right. You could be right, but I don't see it. But you could be right.
Yeah. It's I'm a baseball fan, but it's old. It's people my age or older that are the main component that's made up of them. All right, so let me get to the good news here, because
I'm glad there's good news because I don't have any.
Well, no, we do have good news because we don't give. I like to be fair, and hearing that the Marlins are paying their minor leaguers through August, I thought that watching what's going on with the Oakland A's, watching that the Boston Bruins owner is a billionaire and doesn't want to pay his, people. And I see Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu are paying their people through the pandemic. I see the Marlins are paying their minor leaguers through August. Hey, man, for all the shots that we take at the Marlins, let's give them a little love when they do something that's right, that shows some humanity. I thought that was cool because prior ownership would not be doing this.
Yeah, no, it's a smart move on their part. And I think that, some of it is humanitarian and some of it is also strategic. And the strategic part of this, again, in my opinion, is the fact that you have a 5-round Major League Baseball draft coming up in 2 weeks.
Right.
And the question has to be asked at this point, what is going to happen with all the players that would have been drafted in 2020 and are not? And the answer is very similar to the NFL draft, which is 7 rounds. And you've seen this play out before. Immediately after the draft, every one of those players that was coveted gets called by 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 NFL teams and says, hey, come play for us.
Right.
And they outline some of the ideas as to what the future could potentially hold if you join the organization. In this particular situation, the maximum amount of money, Orlando, that these teams can offer to players after 5 rounds is $20,000. So everyone is going to be fighting over the same players and convincing them to come join the organization. And I don't think that offering them a Chipotle gift card is going to get it done. So what they're probably going to have to do is convince them that their organization is better than others. And I think that the Marlins have basically set the standard here, along with the Padres, and I believe there are a couple other teams, maybe the Mariners. I'd have to check this morning and see who's jumped on board with that. And they can get on the phone and say, hey, look, we took care of our minor leaguers. You're going to be a minor leaguer with us, and we're going to take care of you just like we did these guys.
Right.
And I think that it's a smart and savvy move on their part. And I wonder also as we get closer to this draft, and I've thought about this. No one's really talked about it, but the Marlins also have in their arsenal one of the greatest players in the history of the game, and their CEO Derek Jeter. And I wonder if a phone call from Derek Jeter after a player that they really wanted in the 6th round, but they couldn't take because there's 5 rounds, what a call from that guy would mean to potentially get that guy signed. So these are all things that haven't been discussed publicly yet, Orlando, but I'll discuss it on my podcast next week. But let's wonder about that at this point, because it really hasn't been talked about a lot. There's going to be hundreds of kids who are going to be deciding what to do. Do I become a dentist, a doctor, a FedEx driver, a radio show host, or do I try to make a Major League Baseball career out of this? And I wonder where this is going to go in baseball. This is an unprecedented thing. You used to have 30, 40 rounds of an MLB draft, and now you have 5.
Yeah. The suggestion is pick anything but radio. That's all I would tell any of
Very true.
Anything but radio, bro. That's the last thing that you want to be a part of. Craig Mish, of course, you can follow him on Twitter, @Craig Mish. And Mishmeister, tell him about Swings and Mishes too, man.
Well, Swings and Mishes has been on a little bit of a hiatus because we haven't really had a lot of baseball to talk about. We actually have had very limited podcast episodes just due to everything that's happened, waiting for news. And while I am a fun speculator of free agency and players, and I do like to have fun on Twitter, it's been no fun to have baseball at all. So I've been relatively quiet with this. But next week we will be back, and we will do a 2020 draft preview. Hopefully we'll have a preview of the baseball season as well, if that's what it is. And we'll have episodes on our podcast and it's on iTunes and Android and everywhere where you hear a podcast, it's there. And listen, we produce episodes, 52 weeks out of the year when there's baseball. But unfortunately, due to what's happened, it's been really hard to just produce content on nothing or retro games. I mean, I'm kind of over that at this point. It's been almost 3 months. So starting next week, we'll be back with a draft. If there's a season, then we'll be back every single week. And you can find us on Twitter @Swings and Mishes. And, of course, me on Twitter @Craig Mish. And happy to be back with my Sports Grid company as well, working with them for the next year also. So I'll be remaining doing shows with them every day, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
That's right, 11 to 1 on Sports Grid. Go to sportsgrid.com. Hey, one question from a listener. He says, what would be the one change baseball could make to increase fan numbers?
You say it again, Orlando. The last part you were breaking up. I apologize.
What would be the one change baseball could make to increase fan numbers? That's what one listener is asking.
If I had the answer to that, then the fan numbers would increase. But what I do think is that the NBA in particular is the model that I think that baseball needs to try and follow, which is personalities, sneakers, gear,
social media,
in your face,
social media.
Baseball's done their part with social media, and they're trying to do that.
Not the players, dude. The players are not on social media. They need to be.
Well,
active.
you can't force kids to do what they're not going to do. But the league has to be the one to put their players out there, and the faces and the names of all the top NBA guys. And part of it is people want to replicate that. I mean, the sneaker industry and these sneakerheads buying and selling sneakers online is like one of the massive parts of what that game is. And baseball won't even allow these guys to wear their own gear half the time, man. Like, I think that's something that has to change. And players need to be able to put their own stuff out there, their own opinions, what they want to wear, their own colors. And the other thing, too, is that from an international point of view, what we've done is, unfortunately, we've lost the biggest thing that we had going for us with this World Baseball Classic next year. So, look, for me, I think that the ideas of having the players out front on social media, as you said, is a really good idea. But the league has to be the one to market their players better. That's to me the way that it has to go.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter and catch him at the Sports Grid at Craig Mish. He's at the Sports Grid 11 to 1. He is Craig Mish. Craig, as always, you are a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time. We really appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks for having me, as always. Be safe.
You got it. There you go, Craig Mish. It's a beautiful thing. Go ahead and call David Dwork right away. Forget the break. We'll go straight into David Dwork. We do want to remind you that VSS West Pines is a proud sponsor of our program. Jose and all the great people out there. We love Jose, man. 12397 Pembroke Road for all of your CBD needs. Go there, please. Hookahs, water pipes, you name it. Rolling papers. Listen, don't go to those hookah bars because you want a social distance. Get your own hookah at home. Save yourself a lot of money and enjoy your hookah at home. Go to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road. By the way, I would tell you this. Baseball needs to make it cool again to be a baseball player. It's not cool to play baseball. Kids don't think baseball is cool. Players need to market the game. Make it cool. Get out there. Be in commercials, promos. Be on social media. Go at each other. Have fun. Bust each other's butts, nuts, chops, whatever it takes. Okay? I'm telling you. That's what you got to do. Make baseball cool again. You got to make them say, chicks dig the long ball. That kind of stuff. We still talk about that commercial. Why? Because baseball has no memorable commercials. That's why. And we got a bunch of young people that are like, huh? What do you talk about, chicks dig the long? What the hell is that? Because it's the Braves back in the day. You got to come up with a marketing campaign every year, every couple of months.
Was that Glavine and Maddox?
Yes. Come on, man. Make baseball cool. Baseball is not cool. That's the problem. Baseball was always cool when I was a kid. All right? You got to get back to that. And, video games, all of that kind of stuff, do it. All right?
Oh, we have David Dwork for you, sir.
I love it. All right, we'll get back to your super chatting questions, all kinds of comments in a couple of minutes here. David Dwork does an excellent job of covering the Panthers for WPLG. He's got a terrific podcast called Chirping the Cats. The Panthers are, I guess, they're in the playoffs now by default. They get to face the Islanders. David, of course, covers them on a daily basis. Let's bring him aboard. David, good afternoon, my friend. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Big Joe. Hope you're doing pretty good as well.
Listen, man, we're out here at Toyota of Hollywood like we've been every single week. So we are blessed that we still get to do some work while we're out here. So we are one of the few lucky ones, actually, to be able to do what we love, even during a pandemic, which is not easy to do, my man. So Hope you and the family are doing well and you're safe. What's been the highlight of the quarantine for you?
Highlight of the quarantine? It's hard to say, man. Every day seems so similar. I mean, like you said, we're definitely some of the lucky ones that we're able to do what we love amid this crazy times. But I don't know. The Jordan documentary was good, But right now it's fun because sports are starting to kind of inch their way back into the limelight and get going again. So that's pretty exciting for me.
Yeah, and I was just talking to Craig Mish now. It's amazing how hockey is coming back, and Major League Soccer's coming back. Football's working its way back. Basketball is working its way back. And yet baseball is the only one that's haggling about money. And it always seems like, and isn't that kind of screwed up how all the other leagues, they're just worried about coming back healthy. And meanwhile, baseball is worried about its finances. That's kind of screwed up, isn't it, as a fan?
I mean, it is as a fan, but like the analytical brain goes to work, and I'm thinking, well, baseball, hockey and basketball, they've all been paid most of their money already. Football isn't talking about any kind of a break, or they're planning to do everything on time. So everybody's planning to get their cookies
the MLS
on time.
too has to take pay cuts too. I mean,
Yeah. Well, this is also true, but I'm just playing devil's advocate. But like MLS dollars and MLB dollars are very different. And I'm not saying that the MLB players are right, wrong, whatever. It's just a different situation for them because the season hasn't started yet. So whatever precedents they set when they get started, they're going to be stuck with.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious to find out how many of the players are of this belief, of the ones that we're seeing come out on social media, that they're all, well, we want our money, this isn't right. How many of them just want to get out there and play?
I got to tell you, David, I'm actually siding more with the players than the owners in this case. Because, like, if Mike Trout or some of these star players have to take a 70% pay cut, are you kidding me? Why? Because they're the ones that fill the stadiums up. And so that to me is kind of odd, the way they're kind of breaking it down. But that's what I do respect about all the other leagues, that they had their financial hurdles that they had to talk about, but they overcame them quickly. Baseball always has a problem with financial hurdles more than any of the other sports. And so it's just kind of odd. But on the hockey side, my man, are you happy with the way they kind of came about with their decision and going with this 2014 playoff?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody pretty much across the board is happy with it. You're not seeing any complaints because any team that was on the fringe, that was fighting for their season, wanting to get in, had the chance to continue to do that and to compete for the Stanley Cup. And the teams that didn't get in, there was no preconceived notions about any of them winning the Cup this year anyway. You look at, all the California teams, you look at the Detroit Red Wings or the Buffalo Sabres. So this, preparing for the draft is something that they needed to be doing anyway.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good situation, and it gives teams like, the Panthers, the Rangers, teams that were hot towards the end that were trying to get in there. The Rangers obviously more than the Panthers in that sense, but it gives them a chance to fight and to do something that they've been sitting around waiting for some sense of like what's going to happen. So now they know I get to go and I get to play for the Stanley Cup.
Let me ask you something, because I thought about this, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong here. Now, already I'm off the Dale Talon bandwagon. Obviously, I think they need to make a change. But because of COVID, and this is something in general in sports, not just for the Panthers, but everybody else, David, I almost get a sense that very few teams will make changes unless your coach or your general manager's contract is expiring this year. But if you've got a coach or a GM that has extra years left because of all the losses, I can't see, and all the off seasons are going to be shortened for everybody because this is throwing everybody's regular season completely off. I almost can't see teams making any kind of changes because financially that will be more hits for the owner, because if you do change a coach or general manager, then scouting departments change, coaching changes, and then that means all those salaries are guaranteed and you've got to pay all of those. Because of COVID, even if the Panthers wanted to make a change with Dale Talon, I don't think they will. I don't think anybody's really going to make changes with any kind of front office or head coach, because of all the losses that they've had to endure. Do you agree or disagree with that theory?
No, that's a really good point to think about. And to kind of add to what you're saying, not just the financial aspect, but you think of logistically all of the knowledge, all of the planning, everything, all the scouting of your players, the players that you're looking at, all of that information has to get transmitted. It's a very hard task to pull off remotely. So you're talking about that. You're talking about the financial aspect. I'm thinking about more like nobody can meet with anybody. Nobody's going into facilities. Like there's so many different aspects at play that I totally agree with you now that I'm thinking about it, that it makes sense. It wouldn't make sense really to make any of those kind of changes right now because, I mean, just logistically, both from a financial standpoint and from an organizational standpoint, the overhaul would be ridiculous right now with all the COVID stuff going on.
Right, exactly. So, having said all that, this is an ownership group that did kind of make a change with Dale Talon a few years back. It didn't work out with Tom Rowe. And to their credit, one of the reasons why I love this ownership group, they don't mess around, man. They didn't think it was working, and they changed back right away. Well, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, hindsight is 2020. They might have, not executed it right, but they might have had the right vision. So if you can't make a change, is there any shot that things get altered this offseason a little bit with Dale Talon? Because I know Dale Talon was quoted recently as saying it's going to be one heck of an offseason or, a challenging offseason. And I'm wondering, wow, should they even give him that offseason? But then I thought about my whole COVID theory thing, and I'm thinking, well, guess what? Not a lot of people can make changes. So you tell me, what's that next step if there are any kind of changes above?
Changes, I mean, I would think that it just depends on with their salary cap situation as it currently stands. They have no space. They're going to be losing guys off the top, like Hoffman is coming off, Dadnov, the free agent guys, and it just really depends. Like, there's so much unknown right now because, as you said, of the COVID. I don't think they would do something like they did with the first time that they kind of demoted Dale, with going, completely changing their mindset, going after the more analytical approach. Because now mainly it's not just Talon, it's Talon and Q. They're kind of in simpatico in that way. And I think any decision making, whether it be through free agents or prospects or whatever, it's not just Dale. Like, Q is going to play a big part in building what his roster looks like, just like they did it in Chicago the first time they were together. Q knows what he wants his team to look like, and he and Dale need to work together to put that on the ice. So I don't see any big changes in the terms of the way that they're thinking. Changes could be coming certainly during the offseason just because, as I said, you've got key players that are free agents and you have to make decisions on those. But I can't for all the reasons we've discussed and so many more, it's hard to see any big major changes. It'd be hard to pull off. And so fortunately for the Panthers, I think even though obviously the season didn't go the way that it was planned, they're still getting into a postseason opportunity. They still have, I still believe that they have a very solid roster. It's just a matter of playing well on the ice. But player-wise, I think they're pretty well set up for a good run here, it's just going to be a matter of what they decide to do with the little dollars that they have left to spend coming up this summer.
All right, so what do you like about this matchup for them against the Islanders, if that's what the matchup is now?
It's a good matchup in the sense that the Islanders aren't a very high-scoring team, whereas the Panthers, they can score very well. The Islanders, their bread and butter last season and for the first half of this season was they're an extremely good defensive hockey club. It seems that teams started to figure out how to play them because the goals against started to rise. Their February and March is actually worse than the Panthers' February, if you can believe that. They went into the break, I think, with 6 straight losses. They had given up like 3 or more goals in, I'm trying to remember my notes, but like 10 to 15 games. So the Islanders were in a bad place the second half of the season. Whereas at the beginning of the season, they went on that like 17-game unbeaten streak, and they were amazing. So the unknown, is how are these guys, any of them, going to come out of this break? How much is what they were playing like in February and March going to play into what they're playing like in July and August? It's just such to steal the phrase that everybody's using, in these uncertain times, like it's so hard to guesstimate what may happen. But just, looking at it on paper, which unfortunately it's kind of the metric right now, I really like the Panthers matchup, especially going right down to, I know we always talk about goaltending, Orlando. The main reason the Islanders stole that series in 2016, and one of the reasons they've had a lot of success against the Panthers since then, is that they've got this goalie named Thomas Greiss, who absolutely owns the Panthers. His save percentage against Florida is close to like 950, which is unbelievable. But now Florida has a goaltender as well, and we saw last year that this is a goalie that can absolutely steal a playoff series when we saw Bob and Columbus sweep Tampa last spring. So I'm excited for the matchup. I wish it would be 7 games instead of 5, obviously, but now I'm getting greedy. But I think the Panthers match up well against the Islanders, and it should be a good series.
Well, let's hope so. We definitely need a good series, man. It would be nice if they can actually, advance around here. At least that would at least make you feel a little. Because really, let's be honest. If they lose this series, the season's a failure, right? I mean, it's not a good season at all. You technically didn't make the playoffs, and you couldn't win in the first round, and you don't see any progress. If you win, at least now you can say, well, maybe, you know what? Maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel now. Now maybe we can build on something. I think that there's a positive of being thrown into this 24-team tournament, but the negative is if you can't win in the first round of a 24-team tournament, that doesn't really give you a lot of hope for the future for this group, is my point.
Yeah, a win would be huge, Orlando. They haven't won a playoff series since 1996. I'm no math whiz, but that's a long time.
Yeah.
So even winning this, whatever you want to call it, rinky-dink qualifying round, asterisk, playoff, whatever, we'll take it. We'll take it 7 days a week and twice on Sundays.
Yes.
So go out there, beat up on an Islanders team that was really struggling the second half of the year, go score 3-4 goals a game, let Bob do his thing, and give fans something to be excited about. I mean, this region goes crazy for winners. Yes. And right now, with absolutely no sports going on, if the Panthers can be the first one out of the gate and do something significant like win a playoff series, I mean, nobody's going to be out banging pots and pans, but it'll still be fun. Yeah. It'll be cool to see how the South Florida fans react to it.
No doubt. What are you working on? When's the next Chirping the Cats, my brother?
Next Chirping the Cats, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. It's been a little stop and go with the coronavirus and everything, but I've got a couple ideas for the next one. Right now, it's just starting to hopefully get ready for the season to resume and to get these playoffs going. It's nice to actually have a little blood flowing in the hockey brain right now.
There you go. Good stuff, man. As always, David, I appreciate you taking some time. Check out David's work there at WPLG's website as he's covering the Panthers. We get a little hockey back. Hopefully our Panthers can stay alive for a little while in these playoffs. David, as always, my man, you stay safe. You and the family, as always. Appreciate you, man.
You too, my friend. Love to you and the family. Take care of yourself.
You got it. Follow him on Twitter at David Dwork. He is a good man and does an excellent job covering the Cats. Let's get a little super chat in. Don Parlamento. Thank you, Don, chiming in on the super chat.
Wow. Recent research has shown
super chat
makes no sense.
Yeah, you're getting focused on all the wrong sort of details here. You need to forget about all the normal rules that apply in society.
Wasted no time. Super chat. I thought it was really, 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 really cool.
You should all be very proud of yourself.
I have no response.
Super chat.
That was perfect.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate you, man, chiming in on the super chat and giving us a little love and support as always. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There we go. Bro Marshmelly goes, always talking about hockey, I think. Drew Bo goes, damn, this chat is in a different area. Oh, Lordy.
You know something? David's right, man. If we win a playoff series, irregardless, because, I remember, God, it was probably 2 months ago, and I remember we were at Craig's Inn when we looked it up, and it was like, we haven't won a playoff series since the Stanley Cup year.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
winning a series would be that would make me feel a little better about these Panthers. Because you know me, I'm so down on Talon. It's not even funny.
No, not you.
I'm just so down on Talon. I just think he's a total phony, man. We totally got a guy that is, forget it, not done. All right, Alexa V chiming in on the super chat.
I know that, dude.
Yes.
Where'd you get this?
Super chats.
Oh, gnarly! Awesome! Totally awesome!
Thank you, Alexa V. Thank you. Let me tell you a little bit. Baker Mayfield. Did you guys hear a little Baker Mayfield? So Baker, I kind of laugh at this because Baker is trying to sell a new Baker Mayfield. And then again, he's trying to tell you that he's an old Baker Mayfield selling the new Baker Mayfield. And I know I'm kind of confusing you. So Baker, coming into year 3, obviously had the great rookie year. Surprised me, actually. Played better than I expected him to. Then in year 2, I kind of saw the Baker I was expecting. And so now, year 3, it's kind of figuring out which Baker is real. And you can't go, oh, well, they're not giving him enough. He's got more than enough. Offensive line, weapons, all of that. There are no excuses. So here's Baker Mayfield talking about his approach to season 3 of his career.
I have a different approach to this year. I think it's everybody that has been interviewed in our team has kind of, hit the nail on the head over and over about, it's just time to work. It's time to do our thing instead of talking about it. So this is the first media thing I've done just because there's no need to be talking about it. It's just time to go do it. And right now it's, kind of moving in silence, which is fine with me. That's how I used to do it before getting on a bigger stage. So I'm happy to get back to those roots. And like I said earlier, get back to the fundamentals to where I can accomplish the goals when the season comes around.
So it's how he used to do it before he got on a bigger stage. Well, I saw him in Oklahoma. That's where he was grabbing his nuts while he was talking smack to the other sideline, or when he was planting a flag in midfield, or when he was trying to run away drunk from a police officer. What stage are we talking about there, Baker? Baker is brash. Baker has been Mr. Ballsy his entire life. That he's always been the guy. In fact, I don't believe Baker Mayfield has a shot in hell in succeeding in the NFL or anywhere in college, high school, if he's not brash, if he's not bold and trying to get it out there. Yeah, I know that you walk that fine line that if you don't talk it and walk it at the same time, it makes you look really bad. I get all of that, Baker. And you did a lot of talking before your rookie year, during your rookie year, and after your rookie year, and then you kind of fell on your face in your sophomore year. Now you're headed into your junior year, and you want to kind of dial it back, but that's not who you are. That's not who you've ever been. The real question is, can you ball at this level on a consistent basis, or are you a one-trick pony that they kind of figured you out? Because that's what defensive coordinators do in this league. They get you on tape, and then they figure you out, and then they say, okay, he can't do this. And so a lot of people are going to look at that Titans-Baltimore game, and they're going to go, well, they shut down that Baltimore running game, and then they made it much harder for the quarterback, Lamar Jackson. So now a lot of people are going to say, well, then let's take the ball away from Lamar in the running game and make him a passer and see if he can beat us. That's going to be the MO now on Lamar. And we're going to find out if he can answer the bell this year as a passer. We know he can run the hell out of the ball, but you can't live that way in the NFL. They're going to break you in half. Well, Baker Mayfield, they knew that you can only roll to one side. They knew what you like to do. And then they figured out, let's take away what he likes to do, and now let's see what he does. And he didn't have a counter to it. Let's take away his first option. Let's see what he's got. He didn't have a counter to it. So now he's got to come back, and he's got to show him that he can go through his progressions. He's got to show him that he can roll out the opposite direction and throw the ball. All of those kind of things. So now Baker has got it's a chess game. And defensive coordinators made their move. Now Baker's got to counter these moves. But I'll tell you something, he's got to be himself. And that's who he is. Whether you succeed or you fail, you are going to be Brett Favre. Don't change who you are. Okay? And Johnny Manziel failed, but that's who he is. Now, he failed because he can't play at that level. Now we're going to find out. But don't try to tone down your personality. You are who you are. Oh, and one more thing. You didn't fail last year because of your personality. You failed last year because they kind of figured you out. Now you've got to counter. Has nothing to do with what you say. It's more about what you didn't do. Julius 305 in a super chat. Thank you, Julius.
I know that, dude.
Where'd you get this?
Super chats.
Oh, gnarly.
Awesome! Totally awesome!
There you go. Mike No-Go Zones goes, Cleveland is where QBs go to die. Well, we're going to find out if he can survive now after this offseason.
Sounds like Baker's really confused. He doesn't know who he is, who he wants to be, who he needs to be.
Well, he better figure it out because if he fails this season, Browns fans are going to let him have it, and obviously he's not going to get a break because he was a top pick in the draft. You know, so we shall see. I listen, he proved me wrong as hell that rookie year. And then the second year I was like, yeah, no, that's what I expected. So we'll see. Some of us didn't buy Baker and some of us did. Now we'll see in year 3. He'll decide which one's right and which one's wrong because this is going to be a really important year for Baker Mayfield. He better come through. Speaking of the Browns, you guys know that the Dolphins were interested in Jadeveon Clowney, right? And I don't know if you know this, but Jadeveon Clowney was offered also a contract by the Cleveland Browns. And so Miami offered him money, but actually the Browns offered him the most money. And he turned that down too. The Browns, according to Adam Schefter on the Next Level podcast, he said, I just think he had bucked to go to Cleveland for whatever reason. I think he's been hesitant to go because if he wasn't, he would have gone already because it's the most money. It's the richest offer on the table, and he hasn't taken it. Clowney's 27, remains on the free agent list out there, and apparently they offered in the neighborhood of $21 million, and he turned it down. That's weird, man.
What the hell is this guy thinking?
He goes, I don't know if people think I'm hurt because what I went through, because of the core, because of previous years. I'm ready. I'll be ready to go whenever the time comes. Whoever I sign with, the best version, they'll get the best version of me. In Schefter's report, the Browns offered close to $21 million, which was his per-year target. He turned down the Dolphins and the Seahawks at $18.5 and $17 million respectfully. Okay? Now, DeMarcus Lawrence signed a 5-year, $105 million contract, and Khalil Mack signed a 6-year, $141 million contract. I don't know if he's waiting for something like that. Okay? So I don't know who's going to commit that kind of money to him. I don't know if he keeps waiting, but the money is drying up as you wait. Not that people are being signed right now, but most everybody's been signed now. So most of the cap spaces have been taken up. Very few teams like the Dolphins still have a lot of cap space. But are you waiting for money and a contender? Because most contenders don't have money now at this point. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a lot of contenders sitting around going, yeah, we got $22 million for you. Come on down. And if you want to offer them that money, go ahead. But this is a guy that averages 9 sacks a year. I just can't give that kind of money to that guy. For the Dolphins, I understood it was a short-term deal, so they were just going to add to their pass rush, and it's not a guy that they were going to commit to long-term. And maybe that's what he wanted. He wants that $130 million deal from the Dolphins. And listen, he would have gotten that deal if it was Mike Tannenbaum in place. But Mike Tannenbaum's not in place. So I'm not sure what the hell Jadeveon Clowney is waiting for. I really don't know. Last year, it was Le'Veon Bell mishandling his career and holding out for a year and leaving 15, 16 million, whatever it was, on the table. Money he never made up for it again. Or it was 2 years ago, I'm sorry. This year, it's watching Jadeveon Clowney screw up his career. I don't get it. At this point, man, if you're somewhere in the ballpark and like Seattle wanted you, if they wanted you at a reasonable rate, why didn't you just go to Seattle, man? That's a pretty good team. You know what? If you want to turn down the Dolphins because they're in rebuild mode, I get it. You've got a rebuilt knee. You don't have a lot of time. You know, you want to make sure that you have a shot at contending, and the Dolphins aren't going to be contending for a couple years. I get that. At least I get that. But when a good team's offering you decent money, and you know you've got that knee injury, and you really have never turned into that elite pass rusher that everybody thought you were going to be, and it's not your fault, dude. You blew out your knee. The fact that you've come back from that knee and you've had a good career, it's actually a great accomplishment in his part. But he never turned into the pass rusher that people thought he was going to be. Never. At no point he ever turned into that player.
The guy that flips over the sled in practice, right?
Right.
The beast.
Yes, exactly. I just, it's weird, man. It's really odd. All right, let's do this.
He's got a very inflated opinion of himself, obviously.
Yeah. I got a couple more things I want to address when I come back. Let's take a quick break here since we're at the top of the hour to wrap up hour number, what is this, 3? We just
we are sailing into hour number 4.
Right, we're going to sail into hour number 4. I got a couple things I want to get off my chest before we wrap it up here on the show. Got still a bunch of things I want to get to. We'll do that when we come back right here on the Big O Show, live from Toyota of Hollywood.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
We are back. All right, time to rock and roll here at Toyota of Hollywood. As always, appreciate all of you locked in. As always, got a nice little event this weekend, Bill. Now, you only have 3 days, and I believe it either starts tomorrow or Saturday. Actually, you know what? Let me look it up to make sure. But I'm pretty sure it either starts tomorrow or Saturday. Led Zeppelin had a reunion back in 2007. Jason Bonham, John Bonham's son, was the drummer. That historic performance, starting on Saturday for 3 days, you will be able to stream that one there. You go to Led Zeppelin's YouTube page, and you're going to catch their performance on December 10th of 2007 at London's O2 Arena with Page, Plant, Jones, and Bonham. And so that's actually really, really cool that you'll get to see that performance. So for those of you that are, Led Zeppelin fans and you want to see something pretty cool, it's got 16 songs. It's 2 hours. They do a whole lot of love in Rock and Roll and Kashmir, Black Dog, Stairway to Heaven. The film and audio were released in 2012 and won the band a Grammy for Best Rock Album in 2014. Its rendition of Kashmir featured on the album was a nominee for Best Rock Performance at the Grammys the same year. And there you go. So just in case, it premieres at noon Pacific on Saturday, and it will be available until June 2nd on Led Zeppelin's official YouTube channel. So at 3 p.m. on Saturday, you can watch the Led Zeppelin performance at that time. So you're going to watch it? Huh?
I already started watching some of it.
Yeah,
I saw the preview for it and whatnot, and this has got to be, it's got to be Jason, right?
Yeah,
sure enough.
Yes.
And bada bing.
Yep. So
we all had heard about it, but never saw Jason with them, man.
Yeah,
and that was
I
actually
never got
my
to see
first
it personally myself. I would love to have seen that at least personally. That would have been good to see that one.
I got to say, man, when we saw Jason do the Led Zeppelin experience at the Hard Rock, man, awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. One guy's asking, Big O, favorite Saxon song? I love Dallas 1 p.m. I love Chasing the Bullet. Man, there's so many. I'm thinking of one more that I'm trying to think of. I'll go with those two right there. I mean, a lot of people will go with Princess of the Night and Denim and Leather, some of the classics. But I love Chasing the Bullet, man. I think it's a fantastic song. And Dallas 1 p.m. is another one that I always love when they do that one live. So I'll go with those two right there. All right. Let's see. Drewbo says the entire defense will improve with the totality of how this team was built in unrestricted free agency and the draft. Well, I hope so, my man. I hope you are correct. Herman Cueva says Wheel of Steel. Wheel of Steel is a great song, man. Christopher Phillips says, how about Celine Dion? Yeah, I got no favorites there, bro. I got no favorites with Celine Dion. I can't tell you about that. Speaking of no favorites, Antonio Brown is definitely not a favorite for me. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Antonio Brown, if I am Ron Rivera, I am not feeling good about this because Antonio Brown is working out with Dwayne Haskins, his quarterback. So there's a video out there, and TMZ posted it, of Antonio Brown working on deep balls with Dwayne Haskins. And the free agent receiver hooked up with the Skins quarterback Wednesday for a workout in Florida. and the two got in some impressive throw and catch work, and they show it there. And there were other pros in attendance. Geno Smith was there. I don't know. Do you call Geno Smith a pro? Anyway, Stephon Diggs, Chad Ochocinco was there also, but I don't know if he was, really making any run for an NFL career again. Brown, it says, been working his ass off to get back in the league since the Patriots cut him, and the Redskins could use his help. The Redskins need to stay away from Antonio Brown. Okay, if I'm Ron Rivera, I'm already like on the phone with Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne, what are you doing, man? Listen, if you want to work out, we'd love for you to come up here, and we'll get some of the guys to meet you out here, and you can work out with your teammates so you can actually get in sync, 2 or 3 guys. We don't have to have a lot of guys, but we can get you in some work here. I know that if I'm Ron Rivera, I don't want my quarterback anywhere near Antonio Brown. Okay? I don't want him anywhere close to his crazy ass out there on the field at all. Okay? Just stay away from me is what I would say. I saw that story and I cringed and I felt for Ron Rivera right away. Now, I know we're out here at Toyota of Hollywood, right, where you can get yourself a great deal on an automobile. But I want to tell you about another automobile. It's not a Toyota, okay? It's a little different. But Tom Brady is selling it. And he's got this pimped out Cadillac Escalade that he is selling. I always love when they're calling you and it says scam likely. Anyway, so he had a 2017 Cadillac Escalade ESB edition customized for him by Becker Automotive Design in Oxnard, California. Okay? According to TB12 himself, all the customizations of the ESB, from the trim to the seats to the color of the rug, he picked it all. The big changes have to do with the SUV. It was stretched out 20 inches extra, and the roof was raised 5 inches. Just to make sure everything looks proportionally correct, the rear doors were also expanded by 10 inches. Why make it bigger? Tom says he needed more room for his custom VIP reclining seats. All right? They're like jet-folded seats. It's pretty cool, I got to tell you. I'm going to show it to you here on the for those of you that are watching on YouTube, you get to see it. See? Bill was telling me before the show that he's going to probably bid on this thing, and it's pretty cool. Okay? I mean, it's a badass SUV. Now, the car new was $350,000. Right now he's attempting at $300,000. Okay? Now, it has VIP reclining seats, private jet-like folding tables, a 32-inch HD LCD screen, plus a 12-inch screen in the back. Okay? That way, by the way, all this was for him to focus on football. That's why. So Tom will let the car go for $300K. Bill's a little pissed off because he's not willing to go higher than $290. So he's kind of haggling over the last $10,000, which I don't get it. But then again, this is the guy that'd rather wash his clothes than go see a shuttle takeoff. So, these are things that we can't explain about Bill. You know what I'm saying? So if you're looking...
Every once in a while, you have to do the responsible thing,
If you're looking for a pimped out ride, that is one right there, okay? Myron Sanchez chiming in for a second time on the Super Chat. Wow.
Recent research has shown
Super Chat.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, you're getting focused on all the wrong sort of details here. You need to forget about all the normal rules that apply in society.
Wasted no time. Super Chat. I thought it was really, 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 really cool.
You should all be very proud of yourself.
I have no response.
Super Chat.
That was perfect.
Thank you, Myron. Appreciate you, my brother. And Myron says, oh, my favorite Led Zeppelin album is Presence. What's yours? Ah, that's a great question, man. I'm going to go Led Zeppelin 2. Okay? Led Zeppelin 2. That would probably be maybe my favorite album of all time when it comes to Led Zeppelin.
There is no wrong answer.
No, you're right. Well, Coda.
Okay, you found one.
Right? I mean, if somebody favorite Led Zeppelin album, even if you want to say In Through the Outdoor, which is clearly the worst out of all the regular albums, okay, and it's still a damn good album, but I think we would all pretty much agree that In Through the Outdoor might be the worst Led Zeppelin album out of all of them.
The sloppiness of Jimmy Page.
Still an excellent album, okay? But if somebody told you Coda, which is that album that they did with all the leftover Led Zeppelin songs, and they put that album together, which I still listen to that album to this day. But again, not, you're not at that level. You would like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Just skip and go to Pictures at 11 or
right.
Now and
go to
Zen.
solo stuff.
Now and Zen.
Which, by the way, I love the solo stuff. The early stuff from Plant.
Wow.
Pictures at 11 and, burning down one side, all that stuff. That is Big Log, all that. Oh, I love that.
Now and Zen. What?
Now and Zen is a phenomenal album from beginning to end.
That
Manic Nirvana was a good album, too. Right after that, I think it came.
That time, Now and Zen, man. Phil Collins, No Jacket Required.
Yes.
Those were go-tos, man.
I still have my Now and Zen concert shirt. It's beat up quite a bit, but it's one of my favorite shirts. It's so comfortable, that shirt from the Now and Zen tour. I can't wear it because it's so beat up. Well, maybe one day I'll wear it somewhere where I can wear a really beat up shirt because it's a cool concert shirt. Cool concert shirts that are beat up are passable to a certain extent. Like a regular beat up shirt, you look like a slob. But if it's a concert shirt that's had its share of years, people like, hey, no, that's impressive, bro.
That's that vintage stuff.
It's vintage, exactly. Vintage is the word that I'm looking for. That's a really good word right there to describe it. I love that. All right, 786-322. 1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to me on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always, because that is, of course, a 24-hour talk show there. Props to Stephen Ross. We talked about earlier about the Marlins paying their minor leaguers, and I thought that was really cool. With the pandemic going on, so many people needing help. People that have the wherewithal to stand up and help communities and help humanity. And Stephen Ross, who's a fantastic owner, his heart, I've always said, is in the right place. He's just got to make good decisions. And I think now on the football side, he's finally making some really good decisions. Well, half of American households have lost income due to coronavirus. The U.S. Census announced last week that 1 in 4 adults either did not have enough food or lacked the kind of food they needed. The Times reported on Tuesday child hunger has soared to levels with modern precedent due in part to the effectiveness of a federal program that has only reached a small fraction of the 30 million children it intended to help. Dolphins owner Stephen Ross on Wednesday announced that they will provide a minimum of 1,000 meals each weekday for up to a year to assist those in hunger relief with food insecurities. How about that, folks? The Foundation for Food Relief program by the Miami Dolphins comes from a $2 million donation by Stephen Ross and his franchise. Ross has also pledged to match an additional $1 million in private donations. How about that? Anyone who gives at least $50 or will receive a Dolphin gift from Ross and CEO Tom Garfinkel. And yeah, you can't do more than that, folks. So props to Stephen Ross. And to me, that is, again, another reason why He is just a great custodian of this team, a great citizen of our world, fantastic addition to our community, obviously. He's been a part of it since he was in Miami Beach High and all that good stuff. So just props again to Stephen Ross, man. I mean, that means a lot right there to be able to do something like that. Now, I go from one story that makes a lot of sense. It swells your heart, and you're proud that Stephen Ross is associated with us down here, to a Texas bar owner who might be a little crazy and certainly embarrassing to a certain extent. So the owner of an Elgin, or Elgin, what is it, Elgin or Elgin in Texas? I don't know how that city is pronounced. But anyway, in Texas, has posted a notice barring customers wearing masks. Yeah, that's right. Due to our concern for our citizens, if they feel a need to wear a mask, then they should probably stay home until it's safe. The notice outside the Liberty Tree Tavern reads, the city, which has more than 10,000 residents, has recorded just 52 cases of coronavirus during the pandemic. The establishment's co-owner, Kevin Smith, told the station that the notice was meant as a pushback against the snitches and the contact tracers out there, saying that there's still a rural country out there. Smith told the outlet he was continuing to abide by social distancing guidelines. The notice disallowing masks says the bar will be at 25% occupancy, ask parties to keep 6 feet apart. I think that's the risk. I think that's foolish. They're taking chances they don't need to take, especially if they're in public service. That's what a resident said. Charles Chamberlain, who told the affiliate he's been waiting the reopening, said the notice will not deter him. I'm a stage 4 cancer survivor. It's just a choice. He just put that up there to let people know that if they aren't feeling good and that maybe they shouldn't come. Everybody's keeping safe distances. They aren't bunching up. And by the way, in the state of Texas, yesterday they reported their largest single-day increase in coronavirus cases since May 17th. So there you go. So in Texas, they're already feeling an uptick. But this guy wants to tell people, well, if you want to wear a mask, stay home. Ah, Lordy, what can I tell you? Some folks are, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that. Some people are just weird, and they just don't get it. George says, Ross is a great man. Got to get this guy a ring before he checks out. Well, I think he put himself in position to get that ring now, because I think he's got the guys that can build it up. Oh, that moron I saw on your Twitter this morning, what a fool. Which one are we talking about?
I was going to say that.
There's
pick one, anyone.
Yeah, I run into several every day on Twitter, so I'm not sure which one we're talking about here. Okay? Trust me, idiot people prefer to not wear masks. God, that owner is stupid. I know. Don Parlamento says, I donated to the cause. Yes, you did, Don. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you and your super chat and keeping us going, man. It's very nice of you out there. Okay? Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you out there. Kids are selling candy in front of stores to make money. That's what Christopher Phillips says. Are they really there to make money, or they just want to sell enough boxes to get a free trip to go to Disney World or something? I'm not sure.
No, that's all kiboshed. It's for their pocket.
Yeah, that's right. The kids are capitalists. You're right. You're right about that. The worst thing about it is that they think it's over. Unbelievable. Yeah, Myron. That the guy in Texas that owns that bar, he thinks coronavirus is over. And that's why you've got people already talking about a second wave when we're not even really done with the first one. So it's not, it's just, that's how it is in this world, man. What can I tell you? All right, we got to thank Steve Ostrov and Herbie and all the great people out here at Toyota of Hollywood for making it nice and easy for us to broadcast. 3.5 hours today of airtime. Tomorrow we'll be at Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines. So if you want to catch us out there at Craig Zinn's, come on out at 15601 Pines Boulevard. We'll be out there from 11 to 2 tomorrow, maybe 2:30, maybe 3. I have no idea. But we'll be there at least till 2 o'clock, I believe. Come on out here, man. If you want to get a great deal on a Toyota vehicle, whether you're buying or leasing, folks, they will take care of you out here. Make sure when you come out here to 1841 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, you tell them that we sent you, okay? Very important when you're buying or leasing a vehicle out here that you mention Big O, and you tell them that we sent you out here, okay? We thank all of you out there. Drewbo chiming in right at the end with a super chat. Thank you, Drewbo. You are too much, man. Chiming in multiple times today on the super chat.
Wow. Recent research has shown
super chat
makes no sense. Yeah, you're getting focused on all the wrong sort of details here. You need to forget about all the normal rules that apply in society.
Wasted no time. Super chat. I thought it was really, 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 really cool.
You'll be very proud of yourself.
we have no response.
Super chat.
That was perfect.
Thank you, Drewbo. Oh, we have a Big O Twitter account that Alex V created. Tommy, Flip, Josh are partying without you. Number one fans. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alexa V created a Twitter account. Where is it? I think, haven't you been on Twitter, Alexa? Didn't we? I thought I ran into Alexa already once on Twitter before. I know I see her here all the time, but if you got, what is the Twitter account, Alexa? Tell me what is your Twitter account so we know. Okay? Make sure you guys follow me and mention it there on the Twitter feed, all right? We got to thank, and Tommy Italian 305 3 times today. On the super chat, Tommy Italian 305. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Do it, Bill.
What's going on in there?
Super chat.
Excuse me a second.
George
What are you
Albanese on the super chat. Super chat.
We'll all
Super chat.
It'll be anarchy. Out of my hands.
You guys are chiming in. You want to keep me here, don't you? We got to thank George Albanese. He says, thanks, guys. Wish I can give more. Much love. Hey, listen, man, George.
No. That's not what it's about.
Yeah, it's not what it's about, man. You don't have to give.
Thank you.
We
Anything,
appreciate.
whatever.
Yeah.
Or nothing.
Nothing.
Chime in.
Just watching,
Yes.
downloading, sharing. That's more than enough. Any of you out there that actually give, that is, amazing. So, George, thank you, sir. It does not go underappreciated. All of it. Whether you're just watching, listening, downloading, sharing the links, all of it is super appreciated. George Albanese, Julius 305, Alexa B, Don Parlamento, Drewbo, Michael Mata, Myron Sanchez, Tony Italian 305 for life. Thank you all out there for super chatting, for supporting us like you do every single day.
Somebody else going to sneak one in?
Yep. We thank Bill and Philippe. As always, thank you all out there. We'll see you tomorrow. Come on out to Craig's Inn. Out there, Acura. We'll be out there at Pembroke Pines tomorrow. You all be good. Much love.
Y'all stay safe. We will see you tomorrow.